Many know about slavery, but few discuss paper genocide. We did not all come from Africa, and most of us have Aboriginal roots that were stripped away due to reclassification and miseducation. As a Native Black American and a member of the Muskogee Creek Nation, I understand the importance of tracing your lineage. If you want to learn how to trace your genealogy and apply for tribal citizenship, send an email to mike@keymediapro.com to schedule a consultation.
They don't want you to remember this. You not no slave, you indigenous. Fuck how they painted them Indians. You went to war with the French and the British, man. Quite frankly, you was kings, Merovingians. They took the women and men, made them prisoners, raised up the children to worship their images, set up a lab to the genes and they mixed them, and this shit get way deeper than your pigment. What?
You don't have to try to be something you're not.
Trying to be something I'm not? Trying to be proud of my African heritage? That's being something I'm not, then fine.
My grandmother was a full-blooded Iroquois.
I know all of that, Mama.
Then know this. I am alive because of the blood of a people who never scraped or begged or apologized for what they were. They asked only one thing of this world: to be allowed to be. It broke my heart when you changed your name. I gave you my grandmother's name, a woman who bore 9 children and educated them all, who held off 6 white men with a shotgun when they tried to drag one of her sons off to jail for not knowing his place. And you had to reach into an African dictionary to find a name that would make you proud.
My father was raised in the era when black niggas couldn't claim Native American. Making music would've thought I had help, but the Indians I know wanna be the chief they self.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, smash the like button on the way in. Let me get some fists and feathers in the chat if you can hear me loud, crisp, and clear. Now, today we're going to give these naysayers, these detractors, these contrarian individuals, Africans specifically, we're going to give them a masterclass on Native Black American history, culture, and customs, because everybody wants to know about us. Everybody wants to be like us and talk like us and act like us and flee their African country to come to our ancestral homeland. But guys, it was interesting. I'm very accessible. You guys can always email me, mike@nativeblack.ancestry.com. Some of you guys email me to book consultations for genealogy. Some people email me links to videos they think I should react to. And one of my loyal viewers, they sent me a link to this video by some ignorant ass African who has a channel called Afro Think Tank. Now, I think this man is a pan-goofy, a Black American Pan-African, but, you know, these Pan-Africans think they're from Africa, so for all intents and purposes, we'll just refer to old boy as an African. But he made this video called, "I Have a Question for Indigenous Black Americans." Apparently, he has some very charged questions, and being that I'm a historian and full-time genealogist and card-carrying member of the Muskogee Creek Nation, I thought, hey, if there's anybody to answer these questions, I guess I got to step up to the plate. Now, I'm not the de facto spokesperson for Indigenous Black Americans. I am an advocate for Indigenous Black Americans, but I can only speak for my people, for my tribe. And yes, this is definitely a grifter. He's definitely trying to make a name for himself, get a lot of clicks and views off of Indigenous Black American being in the title of his video. You know, the video still has to be predicated on us, about us, to get the attraction. But I guess he's got 9 minutes of questions to ask us. But let's see what all this is about. Before we get started, I got to say I am going to be offering a special promotion for those that are viewing this broadcast live and those that will be watching the replay. If you send an email to mike@nativeblack.ancestry.com with the subject line promo rate, you can book a genealogy consultation for only $50 instead of the usual rate of $75. I'm going to be offering that for the first 5 people that email me. So go ahead and take advantage of that while the promotion is still running. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the content. Y'all know me as the king of receipts. So when these bush babies come babbling, asking questions about our culture and our customs, well, God damn it, I guess I gotta hit them with some receipts, eh? Let's go. Shout out to Lester. Lester says, my boy Mike is Maney. Stay on the top applying pressure. Oh, Lester must be from the Bay talking like that. He got to be from the Yay area. Come on now. Now, guys, before we even get into this video, hold on. I need some water. I'm about to educate these motherfuckers for free 99. Okay. I do paid consultations, hour and a half, 2 hours long, but I'm going to give you the knowledge for the freebie because I'm tired of you Africans speaking greasy. And shout out to Lester. Lester says Fresno. Well, shit, that's closer to the Bay than me. Shit, I'm born and raised in Sacramento, so let's talk about it. But before we even get to the video, there's an interesting comment that's pinned to this video. If you look at his comment section, someone left a comment, and Afro Think Tank decided to pin the comment. So it's the first thing everybody sees. This person said, please, Afro Think Tank, I have been asking them questions as well, but they don't, or wait, excuse me, but they won't or can't answer. So please permit me to add those questions to the list. To my fellow FBA or ADOS, number 1, what was your native language called? Number 2, where are your ancient burial grounds here? Number 3, where are the evidence of your ancient civilization? Number 4, where are your ancient writing and alphabets? Number 5, where are your stone tablets? Number 6, what deities did you worship? Number 7, what were your ancient customs and traditions? Number 8, what ancient system of government did you practice? Number 9, where are your ancient stone carvings? Number 10, where are your wood carvings and monuments depicting your images, your culture, your early life and civilization in America? Number 11, where is the chronology? Y'all, I'm too high for this shit. You know, whenever I'm dealing with the Africans, I got to take a dab real quick. Hold on. I got a little bit of wax left. Where's my stick at? Where's my dab tool? Okay, I got it. Shit, I gotta take another fresh dab. These motherfuckers, the audacity, y'all, the audacity. These motherfuckers are doing a Salem witch trial on us. What is your culture? What is your government? What is your this? What is your that? And the funniest part about all this shit is they can't answer this when it comes to their alleged African heritage, right, guys? When it comes to them being Africans or Pan-Africans or wherever the fuck, they can't tell us where their tribe is, their culture is, their carvings are, their stone shit. They can't tell us none of this. But watch how I answer this expeditiously with nothing but facts and receipts. After I take a quick dab, you know. Commercial break. I'm telling you, I'm a full-time historian and genealogist. If I'm going to do this for the freebie, if I'm going to deal with these pan goofies and these African bush babies for the freebie, I got to be a little bit inebriated. It just is what it is, what it's going to be in that regard. I will be back with you momentarily. Oh, yes, much better. Much better. Let's proceed with the bush babble. Shout out to the chat. Christopher says Mike over here blowing. I'm just like, come on, y'all. I gotta get at least a little inebriated if I'm gonna deal with the ignorance. But we're gonna deal with the ignorance, trust and belief. Where were we? Number 10? Number 10, where are your wood carvings and monuments depicting your images, your culture, your early life and civilization in America? Number 11, where is the chronology of your early life in America, followed by progression through early centuries? Number 12, where are your artifacts? Who were the rulers of your lands, and by what title did you refer to them? This is open to any FBA or ADOS to respond. Thanks. All right, guys. Well, you know what? I'm going to have hope. I'm going to have hope that this person, PManLO2R, I'm going to have hope that they are asking these questions in good faith and that they truly want to learn about Native Black American heritage. I'm going to have hope. So as such, providing that we're assuming that they're asking these questions in good faith with good intention, let's go ahead and answer them one by one, shall we? And of course, if any of you guys appreciate me advocating, not speaking for it, but me advocating for Native Black Americans, you know what to do. Hit the Cash App, hit the PayPal, throw 5 on it, slide something in the brown paper bag. But let's go ahead and get into this. And again, before I even answer a single question, the wildest part about this all is that I'm going to answer this shit with ease. I'm well versed on the subject, well knowledgeable. In my spare time, I do nothing but get high and watch documentaries and read historical texts and answer all of this shit is child's play to me. But guess what, guys? Guess what? These Africans think they slick. If you guys are long-term viewers, you know that I've been reacting to an African YouTuber that literally creates videos, courses in a university of teaching Africans how to cosplay as Black Americans and speak like us with hood vernacular, as he puts it. Now we got these Bush babies making YouTube videos asking us 1,001 fucking questions about our heritage and our culture. Guys, I have a sneaking suspicion that I'm going to give them too much game. The more that we teach them about us, the more information they have to use to cosplay and grift off of our lineage, our culture. But guys, I'm going to have hope. And we're going to hope that this person is asking these questions in good faith. So let's go ahead and answer them in good faith. The first question: what was your native language called? Again, instead of me getting into the nuance of all the many different tribes and cultures and confederacies of Native Black Americans, I'm just going to speak for my people specifically. As far as what my tribe's native language is called, it's called Muskogee. Matter of fact, allow me to greet you in my native tongue. Hische eyohacho juho jifgodos. What I just said there was hello. My name is Crazy Brave Hawk. The language is Muskogee. We're called the Muskogee Creek people. I've just answered question number 1. Question number 2, where are your ancient burial mounds located? Many places throughout the southeastern United States would be that answer. One specific site that I can highlight is a National Historic Park in Georgia called the Okmulgee Mounds. We were known to bury our dead in conical mounds, as you can see in these photos. And this is another rendition of that site I mentioned, Okmulgee, located in Georgia. Question number 2 has been answered. Question number 3, where are the evidence of your ancient civilization? Well, goddamn it, I'm a Muskogee Creek Indian. We descend from the Mississippian mound builders. So if I'm going to give you a quick rundown on, what did they say again? The evidence of your ancient civilization. Well, Lord, oh Lord, we're on YouTube. Let's go ahead and show a video, shall we? This is a video that I share with a lot of my clients during those one-on-one genealogy sessions. This goes through the rich legacy and culture of the Mississippian mound builders, also known as the Southeastern Woodland people. But class is in session. Let's get to it. Again, we're going to assume they're asking these questions in good faith, so let's go ahead and answer in good faith.
Brown-skinned people, from very light to the darkest of dark, have existed in the Americas continuously for many thousands of years. Writer Jack Forbes, in his book Africans and Native Americans, said, many, but not all, Native Americans were brown or dark-colored without African ancestry. These brown-skinned people lived here long before the dawn of European civilization and the arrival of the European settlers. When the Europeans arrived to the shores of the United States, they encountered a culture of people that became known as the mound builders. Mound builder is a general term.
And although they call them mound builders, just like she stated, that's a general term. We also built pyramids here in North America. This right here is a pyramid with steps leading up, walls, another platform pyramid base with a house, a pitch roof, and a chimney and a door. So we built advanced civilization, homesteads, cities, suburbs. We lived in houses, not like the Mongoloid immigrants living in teepees.
referring to the indigenous inhabitants of North America who built various styles of earthen mounds for burial, residential, and ceremonial purposes. Here you see a sampling of mound sites that have been discovered in the United States. These mounds are primarily visible.
And if you look at the map, all those mound sites are primarily in the southeastern United States, which is the ancestral homelands of my tribe, the Muskogee Creek people.
Mounds are primarily visible from the Mississippi River to the Appalachian Mountains, from the Great Lakes to the Gulf of Mexico. Most are located along rivers and streams which the Native Americans used for provisions. The most modern Native American cultures have been divided into three eras. The Archaic era, from 8000 BCE, or before the Christian era, to 1000 BCE. The Woodland era, from 1000 BCE to 1000 CE, or the Christian era. And the Mississippian era, from the years 1000 to 1700. And there is evidence of mound builders in all three eras. The mound builders have been attributed to building four basic types of mounds. The most common mounds are the conical mounds.
And again, the conical mounds were our ancient burial mounds. So number two that commenter left, question number two was, where are your ancient burial mounds? They're located in these conical mounds. Inside are remains of our leaders, of our dead.
Conical mounds are mounds that are cone or oval shaped. Many of these types of mounds were for burial purposes. Burial mounds ranged in height from 3 feet to 25 feet, and the remains were probably of someone of importance in the society. Conical mounds that weren't burial mounds can have heights up to 70 feet. The second type of mound is the earthen mound or earthen lodge. This type of mound usually had a fire pit in the center and was used for important meetings amongst the chiefs. The Europeans, after their arrival, utilized these mounds by turning them into their military forts, amongst other things. The third type of mounds are effigy mounds. Effigy mounds are mounds that are in the shape of animals, symbols, religious.
So again, when they say, where's the evidence of your ancient civilization? I hope they're paying attention. I hope they're taking notes.
Or human figures. These mounds may have served as territorial markers or enhanced sacred ceremonial ground where people met for major events. Modern Native American shaman or spiritual healers suggest that the effigy mounds enhanced the power for healing and communication with the ancestor spirits. The last type of mound is the platform mound. Platform mounds, or temple mounds, are flat-topped mounds which were used to house temples for the leaders, for ceremonial purposes, sometimes for residences, and sometimes for survival needs such as observing up and down the waterways for unwanted visitors.
Come on, y'all, let's talk about it. It's not very difficult to answer these questions. I'm just hoping that they're asking them in good faith. That's all. I'll educate you, even for the free 99, because I know some of my people are going to be educated as well. But I hope and pray that they're asking these questions in good faith. So that was number 3. Where's the evidence of your ancient civilization? Question number 4 is, where are your ancient writings and alphabets? Well, to answer that question, most Native American tribes, and mine included, did not keep a written record. We maintain oral history and cultural practices. It wasn't until we were assimilating into European settler society in the early 1800s that we developed a Muskogee alphabet that was based off of the Latin alphabet. So for one, we didn't really keep written records like that. Just like if you guys were to search whether Native Africans keep written records, you'd be surprised to find that most Native African languages are also primarily oral. They don't keep written record. There's a few exceptions, like the Egyptian hieroglyphs and some stuff in West Africa, and there's exceptions here in the Americas as well, such as the Maya, who created their own hieroglyphs and wrote on stone tablets and things of that nature. Now, while my tribe didn't really have a straight up alphabet like that until the early 1800s, we do have ancient artifacts that were written in Hebrew. So those are some things that we can get to in just a moment, because you know what? If I look right here, question number 5 is, where are your stone tablets? So let's go ahead and get into some stone tablets. Number 1, this is called the Bat Creek stone, written in ancient Hebrew. You'll find that although most tribes didn't maintain like a bunch of written records and alphabets and stuff like that, when we look at those tribes' ancient artifacts, they're written in ancient Hebrew for whatever reason. Same as you see with some Maya artifacts. This is called the Bat Creek stone. This one right here is called the Birdman stone. And these are called the stone tablet palettes. So when they ask, where are your stone tablets? Well, if you want to know their location, the Smithsonian has most of them. We also have them in tribal museums. But as you can see, we're breezing through these questions, aren't we? Number 6 was, what deities did you worship? Well, hey, if I was going to list all the deities, we'd be here all day. But if I'm just going to list a few off the top of my head, we had, within my tribe, the Muskogee people, we had Hiskitamisi, which is the solar deity, also known as the master breath. This was the deity that we believed who created the world, including the sun, the moon, the 4 directions, etc. We also had Iskota Emesi, which is a great spirit who watched over the creeks. We had Saint Holo, the horned serpent who appeared to wise young men. You can also see that horned serpent in this image right here. This is an ancient Creek symbol in our mythology. We also had Ibofanaga, which is the creator god who made the earth and the Milky Way. So again, I ain't trying to be here all day, but there's a few of the deities. And there's your answer for question number 6. Question number 7 is, what were your ancient customs and traditions? And before we get to number 7, I think something that I should also share as it relates to question number 6, what deities did you worship? I would also like to share our Muskogee Creek creation story, because you'll find that our creation story is pretty similar to the Old Testament. In the Creek Indian creation story, we believe that the world was underwater. God created the 2 waters, the upper waters and the lower waters. The creator God sought help from animal spirits to make the earth. More specifically, the crawfish was supposed to have dove deep down into the ocean to pull up earthen material up to the top for God to use to form the earth. When it comes to other animals that were supposed to have created the earth with our creator God, we have the crawfish who was supposed to have gone down, got up the scoopfuls of earth. Then we had a large winged bird, and they say that the winged bird flapped, and when it flapped over the earth above the waters, it created the different valleys and mountainous ranges. They say that the creator God shaped the first people out of the first piece of land. The first people was called Corn Woman and Lucky Hunter, who he breathed life into. And then we also do have a story similar to Noah's Ark, where there was a great flood that we had to survive, and blah, 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 blah. So a lot of Hebrew Old Testament type creation stuff, we see similarities when it comes to my tribe's creation story. But let's go ahead and segue to question number 7. What were your ancient customs and traditions? Damn, Again, we'll be here all day if I list all of them. But let's separate this a little bit. When I think of customs and traditions, I think of religion. I think of social structure. I think of economy, games. You know, how we spent our leisurely time, ceremonies, etc. So, if I had to think about that off the top of my head, I'd say when it comes to religion, we had many festivals and rituals. We celebrated something called the Green Cord Dance, which marked the beginning of the new year. We also believe in spirits and that these spirits could communicate with people and guide them. Yep, Casey's already ahead of us when it comes to games. Lacrosse is definitely something created by American Indians. Um, as far as social structure, my tribe had a matrilineal society where the women were the head of the household and controlled the means of the production for the most part. Children inherited their mother's clan, and men moved in with their wife's clan when they married. So that's, you know, a little tidbit about our ancient customs and traditions. As far as economy, my tribe, the Creek people, we were a agrarian society growing crops like beans, squash, pumpkins, tobacco, corn, etc. We also hunted fish and gathered wild fruits and nuts. We had ancient oral literature. Again, most of it was oral, not a lot written. But some of it included stories. Like we have an ancient story about a trickster rabbit. So, you know, certain things like that passed down through tradition. When it comes to games, we had a game we played called stickball, where the men used rackets to toss a ball to a target on a pole. Women threw and caught the ball with their hands. And again, when it comes to ceremonies, the most prevalent one that comes to mind would be the green corn ceremony. And in that ceremony, the entire town would actually cleanse themselves, their homes, and their communities. So, you know, hopefully that's a sufficient answer for question number 7. What were your ancient customs and traditions? Number 8, what ancient system of government did you practice? Well, when it comes to the ancient system of government, we actually had a confederacy. We had autonomous towns. Each had their principal chief, who were called a Miko, and a council, where the decisions were made through, you know, different political means. The overall power was called the General Council, which had representatives from each town, and each representative was responsible for matters of peace and war. And this system allowed for basically a degree of autonomy within the local tribes, and then autonomy within the larger confederacy. So, you know, we were the ones who created the concept of a confederacy. There was also another confederacy up on the East Coast up north called the Iroquois Confederacy, which the founding fathers were inspired by when it came to making the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. But yeah, American Indians had confederacies of different tribes made of different clans that all had their own individual levels of autonomy while also organizing for the greater good. When it comes to the town's base structure, the basic, you know, unit in the Creek Society was the Idawala, or excuse me, Idalawa, which is the town. That's where they had their own leadership or council. Again, the leader was called the Miko. And we had, you know, different meetings where people would convene on different matters. Do we go to war? Do we solve it over a stickball game? Who gets this area of land? Who gets that area of land? And of course, there was a general council who really made the most decisions of matters of war and peace. But the biggest thing when it comes to our tribal government is there was no central power. It was all individual clans, tribes that all kind of had representatives that, you know, formed this larger confederacy that moved as a single body. But when it comes to question number 9, where are your ancient stone carvings? Well, you know, that's a easy question to answer. The stone carvings are mostly in the basement of the Smithsonian, right? Smithsonian has most of our artifacts. Some tribal museums have them as well. So some stone carvings you can still find out in nature, kind of. We've got rock petroglyphs in Georgia. This right here is a rendition of them. So, you know, when it comes to the stone carvings, if you do a simple Google search, you can find most of their locations. It's not like a hidden secret or anything by all means. But moving on, question number 10. Where are your wood carvings and monuments depicting your images, your culture, your early life, and civilization in America? My answer would be where most wood carvings are, right? Most wood carvings are in museums or, in retail stores or online for sale. I mean, we've got wood carvings that are, available to the public to buy. We've got wood carvings that are in the Smithsonian. We've got wood carvings that are at different tribal museums. I mean, wood carvings are where you would find most wood carvings. Yeah, weird question there. Number 11, what is the chronology of your early life in America, followed by progression through early centuries? Well, that one's going to be long winded. Shit, that one's going to be really long winded. Let me see. We can take it. I'm not even going to start with Columbus, 1492. I'll start with the Conquistador de Soto. If we start with de Soto, if I'm just going to give you a whole rundown of my people through the centuries, we've got the Spanish explorer Hernando de Soto, who first encountered my people, the Muskogee Creek people. That was in 1540. If we fast forward a bit to the 17th century, British traders were communicating and trading with my people who lived near Ochesee Creek, which is when the British traders first started to refer to us as the Creeks or the Creek Indians. And that name kind of stuck, as you can see. In the late 18th century, there was a lot of increased pressure from white settlers that led to a lot of land cessions where we had to give up, a lot of our tribal ancestral homelands. There was things like the Treaty of New York in 1790, the Treaty of Fort Wilkinson in 1802. If we look at like 1813 through 1814, we actually had something called the Creek War. And this was largely due to internal divisions within the tribe and tensions within the growing United States. And there was actually a main battle during the Creek War called the Battle of Horseshoe Bend. 1832, around the Indian removal time, we had the Treaty of Cusseta was signed, which forced the Creek Nation to cede the remaining lands east of the Mississippi River and relocate to Indian Territory, where we walked the Trail of Tears, which was all throughout the 1830s. And if you guys don't know, the Trail of Tears is where, a few American Indian tribes, my tribe included, the Muskogee Creek people, were relocated from their ancestral homelands in Georgia, Florida, all throughout the southeastern United States. And we were forced to Oklahoma, which is now known as Indian Territory, later becomes the state of Oklahoma. 1898 is when my tribe, the Muskogee Nation, established our first written constitution and governmental structure. 1907 is when Oklahoma officially became a state and incorporated my tribe's lands. So there you go. There's an answer as to our early life in America throughout the centuries. And we've got one more question. Number 12, where are your artifacts? Who are the rulers of your lands? And by what title did you refer to them? Well, again, our leaders were referred to as Amicos. A Miko was really the most important leader of a Creek Indian village. They were both a domestic leader and a diplomatic representative. Some of their responsibilities were welcoming visitors to the village, trading with diplomats and other, nations, representing the village at treaty negotiations, and leading the warriors into battles. So, when you ask the title of the rulers of our lands, the title is Miko, and that was some of our rulers' duties. Yeah, that was 12 questions. There's 12 answers. And the funny part, guys, the part that's really sad, not funny, but we find the humor in everything, right? The funny/sad part is I just answered those 12 questions with ease, and these folks would never even think to ask these questions to an African nor a Pan-African. And no African nor Pan-African would really be able to answer these questions. Most of them don't even have birth certificates. Most of their countries weren't around until the 1960s. Ask a Pan-African what their native language is called. They won't have an answer. Ask them where their African ancient burial grounds are. They won't have an answer. Ask them the evidence of their ancient civilization. They won't have an answer. Ask them where their ancient writings and alphabets. They won't have an answer. Ask them where their stone tablets are. They can't provide an answer. Ask them what deities they worship. They can't answer you. Ask them what are their ancient customs and traditions. I bet you they draw a blank. Ask them what ancient system of government did they practice. I bet they won't have an answer. Ask them what their ancient stone, where their ancient stone carvings are, where the wood carvings are, what the chronology is of their people throughout the centuries, where are their artifacts. They won't have an answer. But we can answer all their very seemingly charged questions with ease. Come on. Let's talk about it. But without further ado, let's actually get onto the video and see if the creator of this video, I think he goes by Afro Think Tank or Afro Dom or some shit, I don't know. Let's see if his questions are somehow different, if he seems to be asking them in good faith, or what his intentions are exactly here.
What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank, and this video is for all the so-called self-proclaimed Black Americans who consider themselves indigenous to the North Americas. Okay, so I'm going to take you guys seriously, as you guys can.
All right, yeah. So he's already coming off condescending. And before we even get to this BS, again, guys, if you're interested in booking a genealogy consultation, send me an email, mike@nativebblackancestry.com. If you put in the subject line promo rate, then I can schedule you a consultation for only $50 instead of $75. But before we get into what this Pangoofy has to say about our culture, our history, our customs and traditions, let's go ahead and hear what my recent genealogy clients have been saying about their experience. Here with your boy Mike.
Really liked the information that I learned today, and it really opened up my mind. Before, I have to say that I was a little bit more closed-minded, and sadly, I didn't really understand a lot of the things about Native American history that my mom was also have been trying to tell me about the people in America. But this really opened my mind, and it also was really, really easy information to understand. Even though it was a lot of information, it was still very, very easy to understand. So I recommend, especially for the people with closed minds or the people who don't believe some things about ancestry and Native American history of Americans, and many Americans in America, I really recommend that they give this a shot and look at this information, because I do believe that it's different and that you will learn a lot.
And you learn so much about history that they don't teach in schools. They're not actually Black, but they were Native Americans. But just because of how they looked, then they would reclassify them differently. Like first they were Native, and then they became mulatto, and then they were colored, and then they were Black, and then they were African first, then American. So it's like so many different classifications, and it sort of like keeps our true identity buried. But this, you learn how to put together your family tree. You are actually taught how to not just put together a family tree, but to connect your background with your Native heritage. And that's very important.
All right, let's go ahead and get into what this dude got to say.
Cannot seem to stay away from African people's YouTube channels, right? And you're insisting that we are, in fact, not.
Okay, what is he ranting about? He's claiming that Native Black Americans can't stay away from Africans' YouTube channels. What? Huh? Africans only got YouTube because of us. What the fuck are you talking about?
YouTube channels, right? And you're indigenous to the North Americas. Okay, so I'm going to take you guys seriously, as you guys cannot seem to stay away from African people's YouTube channels, right? And you're insisting that we are, in fact, not African, despite.
Well, sir, the only reason I'm on your African ass YouTube channel is because you're talking about my people. God damn it! Don't make no video about indigenous Black Americans, and I won't be on your musty, unwashed ass Dookie Dread African YouTube channel.
All the evidence, you're saying that we are indigenous to the Americas. So I have a few questions I would like to ask you. What is the name of your indigenous tribe?
I already answered that. The name of my indigenous tribe is the Muskogee Creek people, or Muskogee Creek Indians.
Are you an Indian like the other Indians, or are you a separate population from the Indians?
In order for me to answer that question, I would need to know who these quote unquote other Indians you're referring to are. How am I supposed to answer that question? Are you Indians? Are you like the other Indians? Well, what are the other group of Indians you're claiming there are, sir? Be more specific.
What foods do you guys eat culturally? What
Some of our cultural foods is corn. That's ground into flour and used in many of our dishes. Meat like wild game, deer, boar, fish, salmon, trout, eel, nuts, hickory, walnuts, pumpkin, beans, fruits, you name it. Like, what are you talking about? Okay, continue.
dances do you perform culturally?
One dance that comes to my mind that we perform culturally is called the Stomp Dance. We do that during the Green Corn Festival.
What does your cultural clothing look like?
The men wore brie cloths, which were small squares of deerskin that kind of hung down like a skirt with leather leggings. We also had mohawks, tribal tattoos. The women typically wore like skirts made out of deerskin or other woven fabric. And we were rocking those moccasins.
Tell me something about your Aboriginal indigenous society that's not taught in school.
What the fuck is this, a trick question, nigga? Teach me something about your Aboriginal indigenous society that's not taught in school. Well, sir, American Indian history is taught in school, both U.S. public educational school system and our tribal educational colleges as well. Us American Indians have our own schools, right? But I guess I'll play along. A little tidbit about history that's not really taught that much in schools is that the Muskogee people descend from the Mississippian mound builders who descend from the Maya civilization. So there you go.
Where did you get your information from? When did
I get my information from books, historical records, census documents, slave codes, law statutes, documentaries, interviews from historians and authors. I mean, what do you mean? Where do I get my information from? The regular place where anyone seeking knowledge would get information. If this was the 1990s, we'd get our information from VHS cassette tapes and library visits. Since it's 2025 here in a minute, we get our information from the World Wide Web, mixed with some artificial intelligence, mixed with a whole bunch of books that you can get for free on internetarchive.com, mixed with any other site that we can find sources that are validated by reputable people that have put out works for centuries now. I mean, I don't understand why these people are always trying to act like we don't get information from reputable scholars. I mean, you do know that there have been scholars since the 1600s writing about indigenous Black Americans, right? You know, I can pull up a book or an excerpt from a book right now that talks about Black Indians, and it was written in like the early 1800s, and it has journal accounts of conquistadors from the 1500s who say that they saw Black Indians on the California coast. So why do they always act like this isn't well documented? Like we just woke up one day and decided to be Indian. Like, okay, yeah, we just made this all up. This is a figment of our imagination. You know, I don't have citizenship with the Muskogee Cree Nation. You know, I'm not a genealogist who does the genealogy work for dozens of Black Americans every week. And guess what? I've only found 3 clients that had African heritage. And it made sense because one of their parents migrated from the Caribbean. Another parent was like from Haiti, which is still the Caribbean. And we know the Caribbean was the second largest destination for African slaves. So yeah, most of us have Aboriginal roots, but let's get back on to this incel babble.
did you first find out that you were an indigenous American?
Well, since we're made victims of paper genocide and miseducated and forced not to be able to read and write and had many laws that restrict us from our Aboriginal roots, I first learned I was Aboriginal when I did my genealogy. Just like most Black Americans first discover they have Aboriginal roots when they do their genealogy. Because we've been miseducated. That's the only way to know.
Session. It was a lot of informal information that was given. I am very extensive when it comes to history, so I think that it was great information because I learned quite a few things that I didn't know personally. I learned more in detail on some things that I did know as well. So I think that is a great part of the session, as well as getting an understanding of where you should start to finish. It was very helpful as far as starting off with just getting that family tree mapped out, and then from there going and finding those families within those different documents and different data systems. So I think that this was very helpful when it comes to giving me further ideas on what it is that I should be looking for while creating my family tree and mapping out my genealogy. And I truly, honestly appreciate your time.
All right, let's get back to the dog and pony show over here. These Africans just want to learn all about our culture all of a sudden.
What part of the Americas did your people originate from?
Well, my people, if we break it down to not just my tribe, but my family, I'm born and raised in Sacramento, California. My people came from, on one side of the family, Louisiana, another side of the family, Bakersfield, California. Before Bakersfield, California, it was Oklahoma. We found our way in Oklahoma through the Trail of Tears. So before Oklahoma, it was Georgia, Alabama area. And before that area, our people migrated from Central America. So, any other questions?
Why do you guys call yourselves Black?
What are you talking about? Why do we call ourselves Black? Okay, he's not asking questions in good faith. He's just being a weird, emotional asshole. I try to give him the benefit of the doubt. I gave him enough rope to hang himself, and he's hanging. He's blowing in the wind. If anybody visits my new website, nativeblackancestry.com, the first thing you see on the homepage is a clear timeline of our reclassification. We've never called ourselves Black. That is a misnomer that was placed on us by our colonizer, by our oppressor. In 1492, they started calling us Indian. In 1682, they started calling us Negro. In 1851, they started calling us colored. In 1960, they started calling us Black. And in 1988, they started calling us African American. I told you guys earlier, the reason why my people were even nicknamed with the misnomer Creek Indians is because British traders saw we lived by a creek, so they call us Creek Indians. Our indigenous tongue, we call ourselves Muskogee people. So when this dumbass says, why do you call yourself Black? We don't. That's a label colonizers put on us. Why do you call yourself African? Since Africa is a name that European colonizers came up with, right? Just like Nigeria is a country that was named by some European white lady, right? So again, why the weird questions? Weird questions you would never ask an African. Ask an African, why do they call themselves African? I bet you their head will start spinning. Ask them why they call themselves Nigerian, when the native Nigerians didn't call themselves Nigerian.
Why do you guys look like Africans who just came over here?
What?
200 to 300 years ago.
This dumbass just said, why do we look like Africans that just came over here 200-300 years ago? Sir, that is an insult. I don't look like no goddamn African. I don't know any African that looks like me. I'm sorry, not sorry. I ain't seen no African with my natural complexion, with freckles, burgundy hair in the summer, dark hair in the winter. I ain't seen this phenotype on not no African on the entire continent of Africa. What are you talking about? I don't look like no African. As a matter of fact, on my website, nativeblackancestry.com, I show some of my direct lineal ancestors. A famous one, he was an Indian king, Thomas Jefferson Adams Hacho. He don't look like no African. This don't look like no African. Just like I don't look like no damn African. So what are you talking about? Why do you guys look like Africans that just came in? Well, we don't look like no Africans. I ain't seen a single. If there's an African that has my complexion, they got that way through cake soap and bleaching. I said it. Shots fired. We don't look like no goddamn Africans. Stop. Stop it. Stop. But let's see what else he got to say.
Are you related to the indigenous Australians and Southeastern Asians? Is that
Okay? I'm done with this dumbass. I can't. I'm done with this. Are we related to the Aborigine Australians and Asians? You might as well be asking us if we're related to the Japanese. Guys, I try to give him the benefit of the doubt. I said maybe he's asking these questions in good faith. He's not. He's just being a weird asshole. So I'm not going to waste my breath on him any longer. Let's just let the video play out a little bit, and y'all can roast him in the chat, and I'll highlight your comments.
part of your population? Where's the archaeological evidence of your people's existence? What were the names of your tribes and kingdoms in North America? What was your relationship with the Red Indian Native American that we all know to this day? What was your interactions like with the Red Native American that came over here from Asia? How were you able to coexist with the Red Indian without commingling with them? What books can I read that's been peer-reviewed about the ancient Aboriginal Black Americans?
Oh my gosh, she's such an imbecile. History books aren't peer-reviewed, dumbass. Academic journals are peer-reviewed. Your average history book is not peer-reviewed. And all peer-reviewed means is a bunch of white people agree on some shit. That's all peer-reviewed means. If I'm in a group with Danger and Ty and Just My and Casey and Anthony and the Hitter and Ricky, and if I write some shit and they my niggas, they my peers, and they agree with it, then guess what? It's peer-reviewed. What are you talking about? Most history books are not peer-reviewed. And I said I wasn't going to waste my breath on this imbecile, but I do like to educate my people. So let me go ahead and bring up some books. If there are any bookworms out there that want some titles, let's go ahead and see. Let me pull up some links here. Again, I mentioned Internet Archive earlier. This book actually has my direct lineal ancestors mentioned by name in the book. This one's called Black, White, and Indian, Race and the Unmaking of an American Family. This isn't a book, but this is a great thing to read. This is the annual report of the Bureau of American Ethnology to the Secretary of the Smithsonian Institution. This document says that Black Americans' blood is unquestionably Indian. This is another book called The Philosophical and Antiquarian Aboriginal History of America. This book is journal accounts from Vizcaíno, Torquemada, and Cortez that documents Black Indians they found on the California coast. Matter of fact, y'all know me as the king of receipts. So let me see if I can bring up a quick excerpt from this book. I really love to share this book in particular because this was the book that had the earliest documented written record of Black Indians in North America. Let me see. I know I've got an excerpt somewhere. Yes. Here we go. Yeah, I got to live up to the name, Casey. I got to live up to it. If you'll call me the king of receipts, the ruler of receipts, I got to hit you with the receipts. Again, this is that same book, Philosophical and Antiquarian Concerning the Aboriginal History of America. It says, though America possesses some dark brown men approaching to be Black, yet it has been almost universally believed that there were no Aboriginal Blacks or Negroes found on this continent. So listen, guys, they're starting off saying, hey, we don't think there's Black Indians in North America. But let's keep reading. But from considering the peculiar circumstances under which a Black race was found in North America, I hold it more than probable that the common opinion is erroneous. So first they say, hey, we don't think Black folks are indigenous to America. Then they say, okay, we found a whole Black race of them, so they got to be indigenous. Torquemada says the Californians showed no manner of surprise at the sight of some Negroes that accompanied Vizcaíno on a voyage to the coast. Because remember, guys, the Spanish conquistadors took Moorish North African slaves to teach them how to get to America, and also because the North Africans spoke Hebrew, and most of the indigenous tribes in America spoke a different, version of Hebrew one way or another. So it's saying that when the Again, these aren't black Indians, but these are the lighter skinned Indians, the fairer skinned Indians. When these California natives see these Negroes with these Spanish conquistadors, they're not surprised. Matter of fact, it says that when a Negro was ordered to distribute a biscuit to the Californians at the Bay of St. Barnabas, quote, the natives seemed greatly pleased at the sight of the Negro, and they signified to him that they lived in friendship and correspondence with the people of his color, and that not far from thence was a Negro village. Damn. So again, the light-skinned Indians see these Negroes with the Spanish conquistadors, and they say, hey, niggas, that's what's up. We got a whole village of Negroes. We got a whole we in leagues of friendship with these black Indians over here. Torquemada undertakes to explain this remarkable circumstance by supposing that the Negroes had been left there by a ship from the Philippine Islands, but he does not quote the time when such an event had occurred, so we presume it was mere conjecture of his own to explain an anomaly of which he was previously ignorant, and at first we were disposed to think the supposition plausible, but it has been found on extending our researches that the Negro character of the Indians on this coast has been distinctly remarked by various navigators, even of the present day. Let's talk about it, y'all. Let's talk about it. But again, we're going to share some books since a homie asked for books. Speaking of the Negroes on the California coast, this is Tales of the Knights of Esplandia. This is the Queen of California. This is the earliest written record of the tales of the Black Amazonian Indian Queen of California. I believe her name was Queen Califia, which is what the state of California is named after. They try to claim that this was just a myth started by a Spaniard, where either way, this is the book where the first written account of this Black Indian princess queen was written about by these Spanish Europeans. And when I talk about this Amazonian queen, this was the direct inspiration for Wonder Woman. Yes, you heard that right. A Black Indian queen named Queen Califia, who the state of California is named after, she was also the inspiration for Wonder Woman. Say it ain't so. Another book, The History of the American Indians by James Adair. So if you want books, I got books for you, Playboy. But let's see what other dumb shit this dude is talking about. I can't spend much more time on him, but and again, make sure to shoot me an email if you guys want to get the genealogy consultation at the discounted rate of $50. I am giving that to the first 5 people that shoot me an email. We have not reached those 5 people yet. Taking a look at my email, we've got 2 slots left. So anybody who wants to fill those 2 spots, you know what to do. Gosh, I don't even want to click play, but let's see what other asinine statements this Pan Goofy has. I mean, he don't know his African tribe. He don't know his African language, his African food. He's living in fucking America, but he wants to ask us 21 questions.
That you claim to be. Where are all the indigenous Black scholars at that I can learn from? What university has information on this ancient civilization that you come from? How was the European able to destroy all knowledge of your existence? How was the Red Indian, the Red Native American, able to destroy all knowledge of your existence? For those of you who say you come from Africa, what part of Africa do you guys come from? Where are the ships that brought you here from Africa thousands?
Okay, now I'm confused. Are you a Pan-African, a Pan-Goofy African apologist or not? Now you're asking the African Americans who claim that. I'm confused, guys. I'm confused. What side of the fence is old boy on? I don't know. Maybe he's a Moorish.
Don't go around with that fake history you are giving. Stop it. You call yourself Native Americans, yet you don't even know your tribe. Where is your tribe? What is the name of your tribe? What language do you speak, your so-called Native Americans? What language do you guys speak? Because every single tribe or every single country in this world have their own language. So if you are indigenous, just as Red Indians, or sorry to say Native Americans, they have their own language. They have their own tribes. So Madam so-called African, wanna be Native American, What is the name of your tribe? What is the name of your people? You coming up with some fake identity that is going to cause some crisis to our African identity. So please stop it. Stop with the fake history you are creating. Please. It's serious, guys. You are really doing something that is wrong and is illegal.
The fuck are you talking about?
Deny Africa all you want. You are Africans. That is how you got to America. You can claim America because that's all you know, but the blood flows through your veins. That blood that flows through your veins. That blood that makes you sing good. That blood that makes you dance good. That blood that gives you that rhythm. That blood that gives you boldness and bravery. That blood that gave you beauty, intelligence. That blood is from Africa. That blood flows through your veins just as it flows through my veins.
Many know about slavery, but few discuss paper genocide. We did not all come from Africa, and most of us have Aboriginal roots that were stripped away due to reclassification and miseducation. As a native Black American and a member of the Muskogee Creek Nation, I understand the importance of tracing your lineage. If you want to learn how to trace your genealogy and apply for tribal citizenship, send an email to mike@keymediapro.com to schedule a consultation.
I am not a slave, I was born to slide, I am not afraid. Hop about the K, oh yeah, free to God, they went out of state. I'm a child of God, I do not belong to the United States. Fuck Black History, tell Uncle Sam he can catch a fade. I went to hell, I mean school, graduated at the top of my class. Still never thought I was over my peers. We did that time together 12 years. Ain't that some movie? I think that it is. They won't control me, I'm really a member. I traveled that road, I came back with the jewels for 'em. When I pull up, they pee how the roof gone. We some dog killers, won't chew bones. Know we all spit on, we supreme. Somewhere I read a nigga had a dream.
You don't have to try to be something you're not. God, I can't stand this.
Trying to be something I'm not? Trying to be proud of my African heritage? If that's being something I'm not, then fine.
My grandmother was a full-blooded Iroquois. My grandfather was a Black from a long line of journeymen who lived in Connecticut since the establishment of the colonies. My father was a Bajan who came to this country a cabin boy in a merchant marina.
I know all of that, Mama.
Then know this. I am alive because of the blood of a people who never scraped or begged or apologized for what they were. They asked only one thing of this world: to be allowed to be. I gave you my grandmother's name, a woman who bore 9 children and educated them all. Who held off 6 white men with a shotgun when they tried to drag one of her sons off to jail for not knowing his place. And you had to reach into an African dictionary to find a name that would make you proud.
I was born Black, I live Black, and I'm gonna die probably because some cracker that knows I'm Black better than you, nigga, is probably gonna put a bullet in the back of my head.
This is the remix. My father was raised in the era when Black niggas couldn't claim Native American. Making music would've thought I had help, but the Indians I know wanna be the chief they self.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hit the like button on the way in. Subscribe to the channel if you've yet to do so. Hit the Cash App or the PayPal if you support the mission. It is your boy's birthday. We're officially 30. They said we wasn't gonna make it past 25. The joke's on you, we still alive. Let's go, y'all. Let's go. Round of applause for all the 30 and over people. I'm having a quarter-life crisis. I don't know what to do, but we're here to bring you the content you desperately need. Now, guys, we're going to be talking about these Africans trying to force feed a false African identity onto us. For some reason, they don't have any smoke for the Jamaicans, the Dominicans, any other African diaspora people. They're not going to any of those folks and forcing them to identify with the continent of Africa. But since we're the popular ones, since we're the golden child, since we're the chosen one, since we're the globally revered, the globally imitated, I mean, everybody want to cosplay. Paul Mooney said, nobody want to be a nigga, but everybody want to be a nigga. I mean, it's a very complex situation, but either way, we're going to break it down. Now, I do have a special guest joining us. My co-host for today is Tough Stino. Let's go ahead and welcome Tough Stino to the stage, coming from the back to the front. Stino, how you doing, brother?
Yeah, y'all already know what it is, man. Y'all know the vibes. I'm here, man. I'm here. I'm ready to get things rolling, man. What Shorty was saying at the beginning was crazy. That shit got me kind of hot. I'm listening. I'm watching. I'm like, hold up, yeah, bro. Why she sound like she got a fork in her throat? But we're gonna get to that though. Salute to you on your birthday. Salute to the chat. Make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe. We about to get crazy, man.
Let's do it. Let's do it. And if you guys are not familiar with Tough Stino, make sure to subscribe to the brother. I'm going to drop his link in the chat. This is where you can find his channel on YouTube, Tough Stino. Tough Stino, if you were to explain to the folks what type of content you typically cover, how would you describe your channel?
Basically, I just pick apart the things that people do in the industry that I don't agree with. A lot of foolery goes on, a lot of clout chasing goes on, a lot of things that are not morally right goes on. So that's what you'll find there on my page. I call my page the Czech Republic. We checking everything. You heard? We checking everything.
Hey, come on, let's talk about it. Y'all make sure to go subscribe to Tough Stino, your favorite YouTuber's favorite YouTuber, okay? And let's go ahead and get into the content. Before we react to this video, Stino, I gotta ask you, what do you think of my handiwork? What do you think of today's thumbnail?
Yo, listen. Yeah. I thought that was a chocolate covered Professor Xavier right there, champ. I ain't gonna lie. I thought that was a chocolate covered Professor X. But I'm just happy to be here to see the show firsthand. I'm always watching in the audience. I'm always commenting and all that. Thank you for having me. Yeah, man. I'm just happy to be here and see it firsthand how we about to demolish these people that be trying to violate us, bro. It's just a shame, bro. It's well deserved. It's well deserved.
Let's go ahead and get into it. Shout out to the chat. I appreciate all the birthday wishes. Let's proceed with the content.
We have to teach people who seems to be so lost. I cannot believe African Americans, please listen to me. If you are African American and you are denying your roots, I'm talking about those denying their roots, because thankfully we have so many lovely African Americans who embrace their African roots, who knows where they came from, who are trying to go back to the motherland and educate themselves about their people, their history, and their culture. And there is a fair amount of people that also denying their roots. We are not forcing you to be Africans, because you can deny it all you want, brother, sister. Go back to the motherland and you will see that you are just like any other African anywhere.
Hey, Stino, are you an African?
No, I am not, sir. No, I'm not, sir. My grandparents come from the Shinnecock Reservation, man, in Long Island, New York. See, and like this is the thing about them. Like they always feel like we don't know where we come from, bro. I really don't get why she with that voice, which I can't. I had to turn my headphones down, bro, because that voice is crazy, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's Irish mixed with an Irish twang. Sound like a little Irish twang is in there. You know what I'm saying? It's Scottish twang. But I don't know why they feel like we don't know where we come from. Like we weren't like taught where we come from our grandparents and great grandparents and great grandparents. Like I don't understand why they feel like that.
Hey, I'm a full-time genealogist. I meet with dozens of folks a week, showing them how to trace their family tree. And when I start off my consultations, I ask everyone the same question. You know, tell me about yourself. What motivated you to look into your family's genealogy? And they all say basically the same thing, slightly different variation in story, but essentially they say, hey, I came home one day as a kid, told my grandma or my mom or my uncle or my dad, hey, today I learned we come from Africa. And they slapped me across the face, pointed to a photo of my grandmother on the wall, and said she was a full-blood Indian. We ain't African.
Exactly. Exactly how that shit goes down. But my grandparents, like, salute to them, they always kept the heritage around. So you would see the different things around the house, and they would take us to the reservation. And my grandfather was a drummer, so he used to be drumming and all that. So they used to have us around that type of stuff all the time. So we always knew where we came from. And so her saying that with that face she got and the costume she got on with the perm in her head, she trying to fit the description. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I don't get why she's saying what she's saying, but we about to tear her up. I mean, I guess that's how it go.
Yeah, let's get it.
And African people in your country, you see them in America. We are one people. You are me and I'm you. Okay? And we are same. Like it, hate it. It is what it is. But my concern is that you guys that deny your roots, you are starting to create false history. Ooh. And I'm not gonna sit down for that to happen. There is nothing I can do, but I will call you guys out.
Hold on, wait a minute, wait a
Wow.
minute. Wait a minute. She said,
Wow.
ooh.
Wow.
She said, ooh. Let me run that back.
And I'm not gonna sit down for that to happen. Starting to create false history. Ooh. And I'm not gonna sit down for that false history. Ooh. And I'm not
What? She's really trying to
Yo.
convince us that she's us and we're them. No.
Yo,
y'all not
bro.
like us.
Yo, bro, how about y'all didn't even want to be us until recently, bro? Y'all, bro, the different slander that I used to encounter, because in New York, right, they have certain shit set up for Africans, bro. Like, Africans own a lot of shit in New York, for those of y'all who don't know. And in my neighborhood in Queens, one of the things that they run is what's called a dollar van, right? So the dollar van drivers, they do the same route as the bus drivers, but they only charge $1. So a lot of people choose the dollar van over the regular bus.
I've hopped on one of those before. Yep.
So one of my cousins decided, hey, I'm gonna go get me the same type van, and I'm gonna go on the line, and they almost killed him. And they say he couldn't work on that line unless he African. Real talk.
Damn.
In my neighborhood, where my pops was on some Black Panther shit back in the 70s, and this shit is crazy, bro. Like, so I don't understand where she get this whole we are all one. We are not all one, bro. Y'all are not us. We not y'all. I mean, I don't understand what's so hard for that concept to pass through. It's just it's insane, bro.
By default, the first level of wokeness was being a Pan-African. We were all in Black History Month rocking ankhs and dashikis, and then it wasn't until recently we learned, wait, we rock with them, we fed the children, we sent them 30 cents a day, we had African pen pals, we used to always think poor African, and whole time they hate us. They don't identify with us. For years, we said, okay, we black and we proud. They say, I'm not black, I'm Nigerian. I'm not black, I'm Igbo. I'm not black, I'm Yoruba. But now that they realize the only thing they have going for themselves is their alleged affinity to us, their alleged kinship, now they're running around like Chicken Little just because we're delineating.
I think that canine brisket that she had for lunch is getting to her soul. I ain't gonna hold you. That canine barbecue brisket that she had for lunch is getting to her system right now, champ. For real.
Hey, let's get into it.
I'm gonna sit down for that to happen. There is nothing I can do, but I will call you guys out. Because you are creating false history that can affect the next generation to come. If we don't put our foot down and stop this nonsense, it's gonna carry on, and the next generation and the next one to come are gonna start thinking that they are not from Africa. They're gonna preach that fake history to continue, and by the time you realize, Africa will keep shrinking and the people will keep shrinking, and
Damn.
So you need us. So you feel pressure because where you from is shrinking. So now you want to leech on us. I understand exactly what it is now, champ. I understand what it is. Now you want, so we're not Akata no more, right? We're not.
How many times have you heard the term Makata over there on the East Coast?
I mean, I've heard my certain niggas say that shit. Like I heard certain niggas say that shit. And I asked what it was, and niggas told me what it was, bro. Straight up. I told them niggas do not use that word around me, bro. Like straight up. Same shit with Jamaicans and Yankee boy and all that. Don't call me that, champ.
Like, and now modern day, they want to cosplay.
I pay for therapy because my thoughts tear me. They keep on dragging me. I pay for tips, they scatter me. I cannot barely sleep, but even I cannot hold on without you inside of me. I never.
Come on. I don't know. Is that Rod Waves? That NBA Youngboy? I mean...
Yeah, that's NBA Akbu them. You know what I'm saying? NBA Akbu them.
Damn, I'm telling you, I'm just a modern day Paul Revere, but instead of the British are coming, it's the Africans are coming.
More than 200 African migrants have scaled the border fence into the Spanish enclave of Melilla. It's the biggest assault on the border in more than 8 years. The new arrivals, many from Cameroon and Guinea, headed towards the migrant reception center. Celebrating
the Africans are coming. Get the strap.
The latest incursion at Melilla brings the number of migrants who've successfully scaled the fence to almost 600 so far this year.
I'm just trying to warn niggas.
Yo, nigga was crying like, please. Oh, thank you, God. I'm here, champ. Salvation. Yo, listen, y'all niggas waited until, yo, listen, why y'all didn't do that during civil rights and slavery, my nigga? Why y'all didn't come over here by the tons and boatloads of chocolate niggas? Why y'all didn't come over here and help us when dogs was biting our asses when we was trying to sit in front of buses and all that? When niggas had the black only, y'all niggas was chilling where y'all from. Y'all was macking
on some Black Panther shit. Wakanda was hiding from niggas, right?
Real talk, bro. Like them niggas was, please, no, we're not them. Please don't treat us like that. But now we got this shit popping, and now y'all trying to come over here. Y'all niggas risking y'all lives, bro. You saw how high that gate was, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all niggas.
Now that we paid the way, now that we built the foundation, they want to come through taking selfies through Mexico.
Migrant encounters. They topped bill 190,000 people.
There's a selfie on another selfie. You see the wall in the distance, right? Yeah. So at some point they came through, whether there was a hole there or a gap in the wall, who knows? But they'll be processed, and very soon you're going to see our drone cameras overhead showing you where they assemble next.
Can I tell you something about that selfie? So last week we saw the reporter from Mexico, a journalist in Mexico, saying that this is happening a lot, that this is how they're communicating with their families back home.
Yo, the nigga got a Montclair? Nah, diabolical. The nigga got cousin. The nigga got a Montclair on, bro. Bro, where you make them? Yo, listen, nah, yo, you're
a Montclair and an iPhone taking selfies through Mexico.
Yo, these niggas came through in costume all ready to blend in, bro. All they gotta do is go to the hood and blend in, bro. Real talk, bro. They just blend in. Like, yo, bro, where you get a Montclair from?
Hey, let's get into it.
We might finish. So I am not going to sit down for that to happen. And none of us Africans are going to allow that. Please, if you deny Africa, that's okay. That's your problem. Your ancestors will deal with you. But don't go around with that fake history you are giving. Stop it. You call yourself Native Americans, yet you don't even know your tribe. Where is your tribe? What is the name of your tribe? What language do you speak, your so-called Native Americans? What language do you guys speak? Because every single tribe or every single country in this world have their own language. So if you are indigenous, just as red Indians, or sorry to say Native Americans, they have their own language. They have their own tribes. So Madam so-called African, wanna be Native American, what is the name of your tribe? What is the name of your people? You coming up with some fake identity that is going to cause some crisis to our African identity. So please stop it. Stop with the fake history you are creating. Please. It's serious, guys. You are really doing something that...
Hey, my tribe is the Muskogee Creek Nation. Our language is Musvoki. Did I pass the pop quiz, Stino?
Yo, listen. What language do she speak? As far as I'm concerned, we started our own gang. Know what I'm saying? Like, we got our own. Listen, everybody in the world talks like us, bro. Everybody in the world speaks like us. How come everybody else can make their own patois, but we can't, bro?
And they over there in Africa speaking French and English.
Right, bro. Like, she sound crazy, bro. I mean, she just sound crazy. And just like homeboy said in the chat, she got straight hair like a European champ. Simple as that. Where's the Afro puff?
Let's talk about it. I mean, these folks oftentimes don't even have birth certificates. And I don't have to flex that I have paved roads in front of my house and Wi-Fi and grocery stores and infrastructure. But damn, let me flex the fact that we know who we are. Shit, I can trace my lineage back to the early 1800s on my father's side, to the late 1700s on my mother's side. These motherfuckers don't even know what year they was born. So let's talk about it. I mean, if there's anybody watching that has yet to do the genealogy, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Seriously.
Hey, if you're looking to get genealogy consultation, I highly recommend Mike. You know, he was very thorough, prompt, very knowledgeable. Even taught me some stuff about the background of Indian ancestry and heritage that I didn't know. The biggest piece of it is he taught me how to pull records and really dig into those records to make sure that I have things to match up to be able to take back for my citizenship. So I really appreciate everything he does, and I highly recommend Mike as your genealogist.
Evening, I had a consultation, a genealogy consultation to figure out my Native American ancestry. And I was given a lot of valuable information this evening, from the origin of the tribes to the different ethnic breakdown to how everything was ran and colonized before, you know, the discovery of Columbus, and after, you know, after he came over here. So I think that you will find the value in the information as I did.
Let's talk about it, y'all. Let's talk about it. But see, I've got to ask you, since you're over there in the East Coast, did you ever feel a sense of like camaraderie with the Africans? Did you ever feel the African immigrants were on some kumbaya, we all black folks, let's work together?
Nigga, hell nah. Listen, they tight because we used to call them African booty scratcher, but y'all used to scratch y'all butt. That's not on me. We just joking with y'all. We just playing. I mean, that's a part of our culture. They mad over that. That's the only thing that they mad over. We actually tried to show them a lot of love in Queens, like, because they own, like, they parents, which is something that I need to look into, but they parents just was coming over here and buying stores and buying things. So it's like, you know, like we had to, that's one thing about us. We always are inclusive, but when you go to their house and you go speak to their grandparents and their parents, you get to see the black on black racism. The first racism that I ever encountered was somebody with the same skin color as me, but they was from somewhere else. That was the first type of prejudice I ever encountered.
Was from a racist African.
Yes. Yep.
Ain't that a paradox?
Yes, it is, champ.
Let's
Yes,
get
it
into it, y'all.
And it's illegal.
The fuck are you talking about?
Okay, I'm just a little bit confused. I need somebody in the comment section, whoever is watching this video, to help me out. So during the first part, she was going off on the fact that, oh, black Americans, you don't know really who you are. You think that you're Caucasian. You think that you're Native American. You're believing this false history. You're making up this false history. You don't really know who it is that you are. But since you want to say that you are Native American, then what is your tribe? Everybody that lives in a place that is indigenous, they have a tribe and they know their tribe. What is the name of your tribe? And then on top of knowing that tribe, what is the language of which that tribe speaks?
Around with that fake history you are giving. Stop it. You call yourself Native Americans, yet you don't even know your tribe. Where is your tribe? What is the name of your tribe? What language do you speak, your so-called Native Americans? What language do you guys speak? Because every single tribe or every single country in this world have their own language. So if you are indigenous, just as Red Indians, or sorry to say Native Americans, they have their own language.
Come on, y'all. I think we got to take a little look into some of this fake history she's talking about. She said we're promoting fake history. We're stealing Native American heritage. Well, I think we got to do a little bit of reading, because reading is oh so fundamental at the end of the day.
Butterfly in the sky, I can go twice as high. Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow. I can go anywhere.
Come on, let's go. Let's go. Let's do a little bit of
Yo,
reading,
bro, you
shall
gotta
we?
let me put your face on that on that joint, bro. Yeah.
He about to do me like that. All right. You have my permission. Hey, so this text that we're going to read from is the Philosophical and Antiquarian Aboriginal History of America. This was written in the early 1800s in London, and this compiled Spanish journals from explorers or conquistadors such as Vizcaíno, Cortez, and Torquemada. Now, these accounts is when the Spanish visited the California coast in like the late 1400s, so around like 1492. So let's see what the first Europeans that came over here say they saw when they arrived. It says right here, though America possesses some dark brown men approaching to be black, yet it has been almost universally believed that there were no Aboriginal blacks or Negroes found on this continent. But from considering the peculiar circumstances under which a black race was found in North America, I hold it more than probable that the common opinion is erroneous. So basically they're saying, hey, we don't think there's like native black American folks, but okay, we found a whole race of black people all across North America. So I guess there are. Torquemada says the Californians showed no manner of surprise at the sight of some Negroes that accompanied Vizcaíno on a voyage to the coast. Because again, guys, remember when the Spaniards are visiting the New World, they're taking Hebrew and Moorish North African guides, because a lot of these indigenous tribes in North America speak Hebrew. For some reason, these Moors could communicate with a lot of these indigenous tribes. And these Spaniards are saying that when these natives, who are not black folks initially, when they come to the coast, they're dealing with some light-skinned natives. They're saying these light-skinned natives saw the Negroes that were with the Spaniards and weren't surprised at all. Matter of fact, if we keep reading, it says that when a Negro was ordered to distribute a biscuit to the Californians at the Bay of St. Barnabas, quote, the natives seemed greatly pleased at the sight of the Negro and signified to him that they lived in friendship and correspondence with the people of his color, and that not far from thence was a Negro village.
Wow.
But the African girl says that this is fake history, huh?
Yeah, of course, because she has an agenda. They have an agenda. They whole place is being overran by China and all that. Yeah, they definitely want to grasp on to something, and you can tell that she thirsty by how she's crying out for help. She's crying for help right now. It's fufu grease and her igasu soup running down her veins right now, champ. It is.
Dang. Let's talk about it. Matter of fact, our ancestors, they had black Wall Streets, lawyers, doctors, black newspapers, black leaders, black politicians. Let's see what our ancestors thought about Africa or the potentiality of quote unquote going back to Africa. This is from a newspaper written in Kansas City, Missouri. It says, disenfranchise the Negro and send him back to Africa? Absurd. Impossible. More than $1 billion worth of United States real estate, which he owns in his own name in the United States, is not easily to be taken from him. Besides, the Negro is not an African. He is an American. African is a misnomer. Why try to send him to a country which is not his own? Yeah, our ancestors were standing on lineage, huh? Our ancestors were standing on lineage, weren't they? They said, Africa, what? We're not African, huh?
That's crazy. That's crazy. My great grandmother was in the Harlem Renaissance. So like when I hear people talk like this, so you trying to tell me that my great grandmother Vivian Schuyler Key, that was in the Harlem Renaissance. She's a famous painter that always told my grandmother where she came from, and my grandfather and all these other people, my dad and all these things. You trying to tell me that all that shit is false, but we could trace it back. We got bodies out here, champ. You know what I'm saying? We got, this is, man, this is crazy. But I'm thankful for the knowledge, because a lot of this stuff I didn't see. So I'm reading along with you while you reading, and I'm just like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? This shit need to be out. Y'all make sure y'all hit that share button too as well, man.
Yeah, let's talk about it. I mean, our ancestors have a rich legacy. You just mentioned Vivian. Man, I done found her Wikipedia page.
Oh,
she was what? A painter, a sculptor, a printmaker, designer who was working in the Harlem Renaissance.
Yep. Her best friend was Langston Hughes.
Damn, she focused mainly on figurative realism. Come on. We got a rich culture, a rich history. Matter of fact, Frederick Douglass had his own paper. I believe it was called the North Star. Most people don't know that Abraham Lincoln didn't give a damn about black people, and that his original plan was emancipation and deportation.
Yep, he wanted to get all of us up out of here, champ. All of us.
Right. That's right. And this is what Frederick Douglass wrote about the colonization scheme. He says here in his own words, in his own black-owned newspaper, there is no sentiment more universally entertained nor more firmly held by the free colored people of the United States than that this is their native land, and that here, for good or for evil, their destiny is to be wrought out. Identified with the entire history of the American people, going back more than 200 years, this sentiment is natural and praiseworthy. There is not now, there never has been, and we think there never will be, any general desire on the part of our people to immigrate from this land to any other, and least of all, to the wilds of Africa.
Even those of us that don't know, because it's a lot of us that don't know, and I'm glad you got that consultation service out, because a lot of us don't know that we may be native to this land, but there's a strong desire for us to stay here, and it's for a reason. It's because we are from here. They can't trick us into telling us that we not from here, bro. It's just in our DNA. It's just from here. Like we from this land. This is why we move the way we move here, because we from here. So no matter what they say, niggas is never going to no damn Africa, bro. We don't eat the food they eat. We like showers every day, running water and things of that nature, champ. All right. Nah, yo, listen. I went in the store the other day, bro. And son had bulletproof glass, and I still smelt the nigga underarms, champ. On my soul,
Damn.
still smelt his underarms, champ. Like, bro, y'all niggas got to do better. Y'all got to do better.
Yeah. Man, I think you probably got some stories growing up over there on the East Coast with all them Africans, huh?
For days.
Madness, absolute madness. But you know what, guys? It gets worse, and it ain't never gonna get better because we've got yet another African woman who's gonna tell us about us. She's gonna tell us what our genealogy is and what our heritage is. And by default, I know this is an African woman before she even opens her mouth because only the African women bleach, and this is clearly a bleacher.
And look at the hair, bro. That is nothing but a perm German Shepherd tail, champ. That's all that is, champ. If you take a German Shepherd tail and shave it, that's exactly what that is, bro. Like, what's going on? Why they always talking some cultural shit, but they always got the goddamn Family Dollar wigs on, bro? It's just like, come on, like Party City wigs, bro.
Hey, let's see what this one has for us.
I think African Americans are indigenous too.
Oh, and you know what? I'm sorry. I got to absorb so much content. I listen to everything on double speed. Let me go ahead and slow this down to normal. And Lord, whoa, them eyes are scaring me. Whoa.
You see the eyes? Like, yo, bro, what's up?
Wait a minute.
She's trying to cast a spell, champ. On my shows, she's trying to cast a spell, y'all.
I need to burn some sage up in this motherfucker. What is going on? Hey, white chick look like the Temu Wendy Williams.
Oh my, yeah, that's it. Go Wendy, go Wendy.
Oh,
what are you
shit.
talking about?
America. Okay, there's a rumor going around, and there's people that call themselves the indigenous Americans, and they are just your run-of-the-mill Black African American people. But what they do is,
wait, follow
Run
me.
of the mill?
What is a run of the mill?
mill? Yo, nah, bro. We got to shoot 5 after that. What you mean, run of the mill?
We the blueprint.
We are it, sis. What are you talking about? Damn. Nah, she out here crazy, looking like Sandy Cheeks, champ. I'm not gonna hold you. She out here looking like Sandy Cheeks, trying to copy our vocabulary, trying to. That's all right.
Hey,
I'm about to roast fire.
It wasn't until recent years why, when I discovered why I would see these Africans that were light skinned, but you can tell there was just something weird about their pigmentation, just something unnatural. And then a few years ago, I discovered the bleaching epidemic over there. Like they're literally stripping the melanin, and a lot of them get skin cancer and diseases, and they don't care. They're literally taking chemical baths to scrape the melanin off their skin because that's how bad their colonized psychosis is.
That's why she got pink, but yet eczema lips. On my soul. That's why she got eczema lips. I can tell it's eczema underneath them pounds of lipstick that she got on. On my soul, I could tell it's bumpy on them lips.
Let's talk about it. Hey, they call me the king of receipts, so I don't even have to roast you. I can just run the receipts on that ass. Look at what these Africans are doing. This is a Nigerian spa.
That's why it was at House of Freedom Body Care. As you can see, it's very.
She's sitting in the acid bath that created the Joker.
Yo, she like a big ass oxtail right now, nigga. That's nothing. She's swimming in nothing but oxtail gravy right now, nigga. What she took
You can see now it's peeling off, and this is December period. So your instant body wash, your whitening instant body wash, it's very, very effective. Just for 30K, the result is instant at House of Freedom Body Care and Spa. As you can see,
that big bitch trying to turn herself into Action Bronson. Oh my soul.
Can you see this?
She's like a fucking turkey wing in that shit right now.
I got a light skinned friend look like Michael Jackson.
Yo,
what is happening?
That's a boar's head turkey loaf right there. Nah, but listen, it's crazy that some people will go that far to change their complexion, and you know why, right? I know you know why. but it's because y'all really want to be the white man. This is y'all can say whatever y'all want to say about us, but we done fought back. We done took whatever came to us, and we still pushing. Y'all niggas is ready to turn into Michael Jackson, champ. It's crazy.
That's wild. It's absolutely wild. And this bleaching crisis is everywhere that the Africans are, whether it's the Africans in Jamaica, the Africans in South America, or the Africans on the continent.
During the dancehall scene, I noticed a strange growing trend sweeping the island. Some Jamaicans are bleaching their skin for a drastically lighter complexion. But why in a country where over 90% of the population is black would people desire white skin? Join me as I journey deep into the world of skin bleaching in Jamaica.
Shit like toothpaste.
And I catch a really white color.
Hold on. Did you hear the song? I put on the bleaching cream. Yeah. I got songs about this shit.
Journey
Nah,
deep
go
into
back.
the world of
I couldn't
skin
understand the
bleaching
patois.
in Jamaica.
When I bleach
Nah.
and I catch a really white color. It's even whiter than the real white people, the color that I catch.
That's the thing about bleaching in Jamaica. The female, then when them see it, them go crazy. Them be like, yo, you're pretty, you're white, you're just white, I'm pretty, so.
How often do you bleach your skin?
Every day. White like Michael Jackson, babes.
Tell you, first time me try to get white, I use that Alloderm thing there, put it on my face. And I tell you, say, give me a reaction. Make my face come like them soursop fish there in a water. You know, specker. If you ever know them fish, specker. You know what I'm saying? Black and thing, it look away, I'm white.
Specker. Yeah, nigga, what?
Specker.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yo,
it gets
bro,
worse.
them niggas was putting acid mayonnaise on themselves, bro. Did you see how he was whipping up the pancake batter, the acid pancake batter? Nah, that was diabolical.
You ain't
Bro,
lying.
they was whipping it up. Like, nah, bro, that's nah. Holoderm? Nigga, you trying to
What
be
the hell is
hollow, man?
he flexing
Look
the
at this
creams.
shit. Come
He
on, bro. You
flexing the
putting
creams.
come on, nigga. You putting aspartame on your shit, nigga. You putting you putting Bengay, nigga. You putting an ounce of Bengay on your shit, bro. Letting it set
Come on,
in,
yo.
bro.
Let's get into
Going
it.
on.
Speaking of a bleacher,
They have started like their own version of history. And what they say, this is what they say. They say that they are indigenous to the United States of America. They claim to be the actual Indians, and they just like any black people that you would see in Los Angeles, Chicago, Detroit, New York. They're just, your average everyday black folk. Okay, but these black folk, what they are doing is that they're saying that they're indigenous to the United States of America. Now, they also, I've seen them in various settings, arguing with Native Americans, calling them fake $5 Indians.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen them arguing with all kinds of Native Americans, just arguing with them and saying that they're fake, saying that they're white and that they're not really Indian. I mean, let me tell you what I think. Here's what I think African Americans are. I think African Americans are Africans. I think that African Americans are Africans. I think that they came. I think that Black African American people came from West and Central Africa. And it's so hard for them to admit that they are from, and myself included. Okay, I am actually of West African and Central African.
that's you. That's not us. You don't speak for our genealogy. What the hell?
That's right. That's right. You. Why is it easier to believe that a white person would be native but not a black person? Like, you don't question the white person because you bleach your skin, you wear that stiff ass wig that should look, bro, it should look like a sloth back. Dead ass. Like it look like the fur off a sloth back. Dead ass. Like, but you got that on, and you don't want to believe that what we're saying that we learned from our ancestors, bro. Like, why is it so hard to believe that when people say $5 Indians? I don't know. I've heard dollar Indian, $5 Indian, $10 Indian, but I know it was something where they could pay to get Indian papers, like the native papers, like, and that was something that they was doing, like that's real. So when you see these people arguing, it's because we know what we talking about. Like, my grandfather is one of those people that she's talking about that would go and be arguing with people and trying to teach them.
And nobody
Basically,
asked her. Nobody asked her opinion, but she just thought she'd make a video titled "Blacks Are Not Indigenous to America. There is no such thing as a Black Native American." Well, ma'am, I guess my tribal status makes you a liar. I mean, and maybe I'm lying about being a Creek Indian. You know, it's just a fake ID card, and you know, it's just all fake history. Let this self-hating, skin bleaching African tell
yo,
it.
Mike, you want to know what's so crazy? Before you get back to the video, when I first went to the reservation, right before I got there, my impression was I was going to see, you know, like how you see on TV, like niggas going to be in teepees and all that. I ain't know. I was from the hood, like, but when I got there, bro, everybody looked like me. I didn't see not one stereotypical, as the other lady called them, a red Indian. I didn't see none of them Eskimo niggas.
Nah.
I didn't see none of them Eskimo niggas, bro. I was surprised. Like, oh shit. Like, bro, everybody looks like me, dark just like me. All of them. So, I mean, I don't they need
All
knowledge,
the Indians, all the Indians on the East Coast from Canada to the Gulf of Mexico were Black Indian tribes. Those Mongoloids that came across the Bering Strait, they settled in the southwestern United States. They're in the desert, the California desert, the Nevada desert, the Arizona desert. When you talk about the East Coast, the mound builders, those folks that made the pyramids, those are all Black folks. All of them.
That's crazy.
And shout out to Christopher. Christopher says, salute. Where's your Creek ancestry from? I don't know what you mean by that question. I mean, like where did they live before the Trail of Tears? Or and shout out to Dark Energy. He says, can we change our name? I personally like to go by the term Native Black American. I think that immediately delineates us from immigrants and pays homage to our Aboriginal ancestry. So Native Black American for me. But how about you, Stino? Are you an African American?
No, I'm definitely not an African American. I definitely been calling myself a Black American, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I definitely been calling myself a Black American. My father was very my pops was very how you call it? Like Black Power, bro. Like he was one of those guys. So I've been calling myself a Black American for years.
See, and here's a problem with that. With all these African migrants coming through, technically they're Black Americans because on the census they're classified as Black. They're not classified as African American or African immigrant or Haitian American. They're labeled as a Black American.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Now, one question that I had asked you before was, did we want that at a certain point in time? Like, was it our goal? And I know we wasn't alive during the whole 60s and all that, but was it the goal to have this type of inclusion, and that was biting us in our ass from wanting to include everybody into our shit?
Yeah, during the civil rights movement, we definitely did pave the way for these Africans to be able to legally immigrate to America. And we did think that they would come over here and bolster our numbers and rock out for us because we're distant cousins in the motherland and blase blase. But over time, they've done nothing but be propped up as controlled opposition, agents of chaos. A lot of these Black politicians swiping down reparations bills, you look into their family. They're immigrants. They come from the Caribbean. They come from Africa somewhere. I mean, a lot of these folks on TV, these actors playing Black American roles. These motherfuckers is African. Homeboy from what's that movie? Snowfall, African.
Yep.
Idris Elba, African. I mean,
Yep.
they just had a movie where MLK was played by some African immigrant. Fred Hampton played by an African immigrant. I'm like, what?
That shit is crazy. But
Diabolical.
once you start seeing that them niggas ain't us, you know what I'm saying? It's good to point it out.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Descent. Yeah, that's just life. You know, you can't go around just making up things. And so I think that Black people come from Africa. That's where I think they came from. When I say they, I'm talking about the indigenous, the so-called indigenous American groups. I don't say that I'm indigenous to America. What I like to call myself is a person of color from America. I call myself.
Why don't you call yourself a goddamn African? You trying to convince us we Africans?
Yo, didn't she just say that she come from
West Africa or some shit?
Yeah, right. So how like why you want to be from here so bad, but we can't be here, but we can't be from here. She looks like a seahorse, bro. It's kind of getting me like it's like a very intriguing seahorse right now. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, this is wild. Let's get into it.
A person of color of American descent. So I like to use that word, that type of terminology, a person of color from America. That's what I like to use. Now, I don't believe that Blacks are Hebrew Israelites. I don't believe that Black people are Egyptians unless they're Nubian.
Why is she lumping in Hebrew Israelites and Egyptian Nubians with Native Black Americans?
What does that have to do with me, champ? Like, what does all that have to do with what I'm talking about?
She's just going on a psycho rant at this point. And you know what? These psycho chicks who bleach like this, they're always so candid about it. I bet you will find evidence that she's a bleacher other than looking at her face. Let's go ahead and take a look at her channel real quick. Let's do a quick audit. Let's do a quick audit of her channel. Let's go to her oldest videos. Skin bleaching. Oh, she's promoting skin.
Lying.
Skin bleaching. Yes, I still bleach.
What?
Check out my lion puss skincare. What is lion puss?
What?
You putting lion puss on your face? What?
Diabolical.
She got before and after photos. This has before the bleaching.
Nigga, that's India Ari before, champ. She looked like Pam from Martin before, champ.
Hold on. I gotta play this.
Okay,
I don't know what the fuck that music was. We gotta wait. Hold on. Here are some of my skin bleaching before and afters. Oh,
nah, this is the nail in the coffin right here.
I'm the king of receipts, ain't I? I knew
the
he find it,
bro. The king, bro. Look at this. Look at that.
Damn.
Went from brownie to cookie batter, champ. Yeah, it's crazy.
And that's her natural hair without the wig.
Yo, no, that's Uncle Ben's. Yeah, that's Uncle Ben's without the hat right there, champ.
Damn.
Don't do Pam like that. That's BDB, but nah. Mike, Cuzzo.
I'm nasty with the receipts, ain't I?
Fatality.
Just finish him.
That's reptile right there.
And she looked fine before. She looked like a melanated Black woman before.
Talk about my skin bleaching channel. Right now, this Florida Pio 8 channel. As you know the story, it was hacked, so I had to delete all my.
That's why she got gloves on, bro.
Okay, so anyway,
because
what I'm trying to do with this channel is to make it more political based, more government, CIA, that type of thing. So 9/11 truth, truther movements, political subjects, colorism, racial topics, Donald Trump topics.
Colorism and you bleaching is insanity.
Bleaching video.
Colorism and you bleaching is ins. bro. Nah, son. Nah, son. Nah, son. Yo, Mike. Nah, son.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, colorism
Hey.
and you bleaching?
She getting rid of her color.
Political shit and you not from here? How you talk about you about to talk about some political shit and you got some Ibada, Iba song on in the back?
Wakanda
champ?
forever.
Yeah. You got the Wakanda music in the back talking about you about to talk about our politics.
We got to go back to how she used to look at Stino roast the shit out of her. Go ahead, Stino. Don't stop now.
Son.
Tell us how you really feel. Come on.
Yo, son. Yo, she like she was about to drop an R&B album before. Oh my soul. She like she was about to hit the R&B album before. And then she just switched up, champ. She's come on, man. Come on. That looked like a bad suntan right there in the before picture, bro. That's a bad tanning salon joint right there. But you can tell that she always wanted to be white, bro. You can tell, like, even in this before picture, you can tell she wanted to be Ken from Barbie and Ken, bro. Like, you could tell she wanted to be plastic. You could tell this was the aesthetic that she was going for, champ. This is just what you could tell, but this is disgusting. It's like a pretzel, champ. Like,
This is
listen,
an identity
man.
crisis. This is a mental health crisis. This is
Yo.
insecurities. These are the effects of colonialism. Some folks
Colorism?
can't rebel. Some folks can't remain themselves while being burdened by European powers. You know, this is what
Yo.
failing the struggle looks like. We are what winning looks like, and this is what failure looks like.
Bro, you don't know how strong we are as people until you start to look outward and see how many people with dark skin from other countries try so hard to be like white people when we try so hard to not be like them. Like it's like bell bottoms. We created that. Baggy clothes. We created that. When everybody was wearing
hat backwards, hat sideways, one
right.
pants leg up, everything. Yeah.
Anything to not be like them, to make our own way, to rebel for what they was trying to put upon us. That's what we did, bro. And it's crazy, bro. Thank you for this content, bro. Like, I'm always going to say that because I'm a fan of this page before anything. I'm a fan of your work, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it's this shit is amazing, bro, to see this shit, bro. Because now I'm really realizing that these niggas is not as strong as they say they are. We're actually way stronger than what they want us to believe.
And they got the nerve to talk down on us while they're trying to cosplay, while they promote false superior complexes. It's sickening. It's sickening. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're about to wrap up this stream here shortly. Me and Sino are working on collaborating together. So if you guys think that we're a good dynamic duo and you guys would watch a podcast or something hosted by the two of us, then leave a comment in the comment section. Let us know what you think about the dynamic duo. But
Sure.
Before we end the stream, Sino, go ahead and leave us with some brief closing remarks.
Hey, yo, listen, everybody, y'all make sure, man, that y'all, this is really the only thing that I want to say, that, and I'll be saying to my audience too as well. Make sure that y'all support in any way possible the people that y'all voices that y'all want push forward, right? It's a lot of us that need to be pushed forward a little bit more because it's shit that we fighting against that's bigger than what they trying to push on us. Know what I mean? So just I don't know if y'all supporting or not. Please support. Make sure y'all share this man page. Make sure y'all subscribe if y'all not subscribed. And thank y'all for tuning in, man. All right.
Yeah.
Salute.
And ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. As soon as the stream ends, it's going to redirect you into the next stream. And I'm actually teaming up with Stino over on his channel. We're going to be dissecting the Jaguar Wright interview she gave on Piers Morgan. And apparently Jay-Z is the next one on the chopping block. So we'll see you guys in just a moment. Don't touch that dial.
Yes, sir.
They don't want you to remember this. You not no slave, you indigenous. Fuck how they painted them Indians. You went to war with the French and the British, man. Quite frankly, you was kings, Merovingians. They took the women and men, made them prisoners. Raised up the children to worship their images. Set up a lab to the genes and they mixed them. And this shit get way deeper than your pigment.
About slavery, but few discuss paper genocide. We did not all come from Africa, and most of us have Aboriginal roots that were stripped away due to reclassification and miseducation. As a Native Black American and a member of the Muskogee Creek Nation, I understand the importance of tracing your lineage. If you want to learn how to trace your genealogy and apply for tribal citizenship, send an email to mike@keymediapro.com to schedule a consultation.
I am not a slave, I was born to slide, I am not afraid. Hop about the K, oh yeah, free to God, they went out of state. I'm a child of God, I do not belong to the United States. Fuck Black History, tell Uncle Sam he can catch a fade. I went to hell, I mean school, graduated at the top of my class. Still never thought I was over my peers. We did that time together 12 years. Ain't that some movie? I think that it is. They won't control me, I'm really a member. I traveled that road, I came back with the jewels for 'em. When I pull up, they pee how the roof gone. We some dog killers, won't chew bones. Know we all spit 'em, we supreme. Somewhere I read a nigga had a dream.
You don't have to try to be something you're not. Oh, God, I can't stand this. Trying to be something I'm not? Trying to be proud of my African heritage? If that's being something I'm not, then fine. My grandmother was a full-blooded Iroquois. My grandfather was a black from a long line of journeymen who lived in Connecticut since the establishment of the colonies. My father was a Bajan who came to this country a cabin boy in a merchant marina. I know all of that, Mama. Then know this. I am alive because of the blood of a people who never scraped or begged or apologized for what they were. They asked only one thing of this world: to be allowed to be. I gave you my grandmother's name, a woman who bore 9 children and educated them all. Who held off 6 white men with a shotgun when they tried to drag one of her sons off to jail for not knowing his place. And you had to reach into an African dictionary to find a name that would make you proud.
I was born black, I live black, and I'm gonna die probably because some cracker that knows I'm black better than you, nigga, is probably gonna put a bullet in the back of my head.
My father was raised in the era when black niggas couldn't claim Native American. Making music would've thought I had help, but the Indians I know wanna be the chief they self.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hit the like button on the way in. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Hit the Cash App or the PayPal if you support grassroots media. And let's get on with the content. Umar Johnson is once again triggered. Why is he triggered? Well, because naturally, on a national scale, Black Americans are waking up to their Aboriginal roots. And the more that we wake up to the fact that we are not from Africa, our ancestors are not from Africa, well, you know what that does? That really messes up that whole Pan-African grift. You know, all those content creators and social media influencers promoting Africa and telling people to go take tours of Africa and move to Africa while they live in America comfortably. Have you ever met a Pan-African that actually lives in Africa? No. But here we go. Umar Johnson, he knows his grift is coming to an end. We ain't rocking with that Pan-African bullshit no more. We ain't rocking with no African-American terminology. And he's short-circuiting because of it.
Native Africans of America. That's
whoa. What the fuck is a Native African of America? Stop the cap, stop the cap, stop the cap. We are the Anasazi. We are the Amerindian. We are the Negro. We are the Native Black American. We are the foundational Black American. You can call us many of things, but not no Native African. Boy, what the fuck you say? I don't ever want to hear Native and African in the same sentence. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Hey, I just listened to this video again behind the scenes to run it back and see if he really called us what I think he called us. And he did. He did, y'all. Listen to this dumb shit.
Native Africans of America. That's what you should be calling yourself. See, if you tell me that I do not descend from enslaved Africans. I descend from the original Africans who came to America. I have no problem.
No. Stop it. So now he's moving the goalposts. He knows that there's so much evidence out there of black folks' indigeneity that now he's trying to say, okay, you guys are Indians, that's cool, but those Indians really came from Africa like thousands or hundreds of billions of years ago. No, stop it.
With that, if you tell me I do not descend from the enslaved African, I descend from the original Africans who came to America millennium before Columbus, I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that. You say, Doc, I am a descendant of the original African tribes in America. I have no problem with that. But that's not what y'all teach. That's not what you pretendians teach.
Because that's not the truth, dumbass. What are you talking about? These pan goofies want us to believe that every square inch of land on Earth was inhabited by an indigenous person except the Americas. The Americas was just totally empty. Africa, Europe, Asia, everything else had people on it, but America was just empty until some Africans went over there. Stop it.
You pretendians teach that you are not African. You have no African DNA. That's a problem. Let me tell you why that's a problem. And I don't care about y'all hating on me on Clubhouse. They've been hating on me on YouTube, and I'm still number one. I'm still that. Listen, I don't care how many Clubhouse groups y'all start trying to take down the champion of Black consciousness. They did it on YouTube, and I'm still here. And
Amira says he's a whole Carib Indian. Hey, there's been a lot of American Indian sellouts. Jesse Jackson is an American Indian, but Jesse Jackson was the one that worked to reclassify us as African American. So they've used divide and conquer tactics for a long time now to turn our own against us.
I'm still number one.
Hey, don't get it twisted. Umar Johnson knows the truth. He know damn well we ain't all from Africa, and some of us are Aboriginal, and only few of us have African heritage. He knows all this, but it'll fuck up his grift and his speaking engagements to promote something other than Pan-Africanism.
That's right. That's right. Most degrees, most supporters, most requested. Stop playing with me. Only one with an institution, because you know we bought the whole block. Y'all talking about buy the block.
Sir, you have an abandoned trap bando in a impoverished neighborhood. You've been working on that school for like 20 years. Still not open.
Back, we bought the whole block. Frederick Douglass, Marcus Garvey, we bought the whole block. Stop playing games. But here's the problem for you pretendians who say, I'm a Native American, but I'm not African. Here's the problem. The original Americans were African. Vasco Nunez.
That makes absolutely no sense. How are you an original American if you're African? That's a paradox. That's a double negative. That does not compute.
De Gama. Look up the European. Vasco Nunez de Gama. Go look him up. Go look him up. That European said when he showed up in the Americas, the Native Americans told him that the original people were African.
No, that's false. When the earliest Spanish conquistadors came to the Americas, the island of California, for example, because yes, at one point in time, California looked more like an island, because if you remove all these levees and dams in the Central Valley, it's all underwater, right? But that's for another live stream. I can actually pull up some sources. I'm not like Umar. I don't just talk shit in front of a camera. Let me bring up a primary source. Philosophical and Antiquarian Aboriginal History of America. Let's do some reading, guys, because at the end of the day, reading is also fundamental.
Butterfly in the sky, I can go twice as high. Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow.
Oh yes, let's do some reading. Let's see what the Europeans actually said. Now I got to give you some context here. I've got to give you some context. The Spanish Europeans When they came over to the Americas, they only were able to discover this land because of the North African snitches called Moors. American Indians had circumnavigated the globe since time immemorial. Africans have also circumnavigated the world since the beginning of time. So we had trade established, we had contact between the continents. And the North African Moors taught the Europeans how to get over here. And let's take a look at what some people write in their conquistador journals. Now, the Spaniards took North African Moorish guides, slaves, vassals, whatever you want to call them. And it says right here at the top, although America possesses some dark brown men approaching to be black, yet it has almost been universally believed that there were no Aboriginal blacks or Negroes found on this continent. But from considering the peculiar circumstance under which a black race was found in North America, I hold it more than probable that the common opinion is erroneous. So again, basically he's saying, hey, we never thought that there was Aboriginal black folks in America, but we found a whole race of them in North America, so they have to be Aboriginal. Torquemada says the Californians showed no manner of surprise at the sight of some Negroes that accompanied Vizcaino on a voyage to the coast. Well, wait a minute. If Vizcaino meets some California Indians, and these aren't black Indians, these are the lighter skinned Indians, and if Torquemada has, if Vizcaino has some Moorish Negro Africans with him, then shouldn't these California natives be surprised at the sight of these Moorish Negroes, right? Shouldn't they be so surprised to see people with black skin? Well, let's see what these California Indians reacted with. Torquemada says, the Californians show no manner of surprise at the sight of some Negroes that accompanied Vizcaino on a voyage to this coast. And if we scroll down a little bit and keep reading, it says, when a Negro was ordered to distribute a biscuit to the Californians at the Bay of St. Barnabas, quote, the natives seemed greatly pleased at the sight of the Negro, and they signified to him that they lived in friendship and correspondence with a people of his color, and that not far from thence was a Negro village. Damn, so not only the light-skinned California Indians not being surprised by seeing these Africans, but they're like, hey, yo, we're happy to see you. We got a whole village of some dark-skinned people down the way. But Umar wants you to believe that the Spaniards found the natives and the natives said, oh, yeah, we come from Africa. No. And even the Spaniards back then were trying to explain this away. Torquemada undertakes to explain this remarkable circumstance by supposing that the Negroes had been left there from a ship from the Philippine Islands. So this is a theory they're coming up with even back then, from 1492, 1500s, whenever this was. I think it was early 1500s. They're trying to say, hey, well, maybe these Negroes were just left here. You know, some Spanish conquistador just left some Negroes here. Now let's keep reading. But as he does not quote the time when such an event had occurred, we presume it was a mere conjecture of his own to explain an anomaly of which he had been previously ignorant. And at first we were disposed to think the supposition plausible. But as it was found on extending our searches, that the Negro character of the Indians on this coast has been distinctly remarked by various navigators, even of the present day. We deem it impossible that any few individuals who were probably without women with them when they left on the coast could have been able to communicate their peculiar complexion and features to entire nations, even after a period of above 200 years. So what does that say in plain English? It says, hey, even if you guys theorize that maybe some Spaniards left these Negroes here on the coast, these Negroes would have been without women. And even if they were left here for hundreds of years, which they weren't, they wouldn't have been able to have sex with so many native girls and have so many babies to make up for why there's such a large amount of all these black Indians. It's just logistically impossible. They came up with the theory and they debunked the theory. Let's keep reading. If you look at the little asterisks, it says here that one of the very first voyages to California was made by Cortez in 1535, who was accompanied by 400 Spaniards and 300 Negro slaves. Remember them North African Moors, they lost the war with the Spaniards, and now there were slaves over there in Spain, which is why he had 300 Negro slaves. And they're trying to say, well, hey, maybe he left some of these North Africans over here. Well, let's keep reading. He coasted both sides of the Gulf of California and returned safely to Acapulco. In this expedition, it's the earliest account that we have of Negroes having been sent to that part of America, but there's no reason to think that any of them were left on the shore. Negro slaves are worth money, y'all. Why would Cortez just leave 300 African slaves on the coast? Just, hey guys, you're free now. Just be fruitful and multiply. It's Gucci. Be free, slaves. Be free. Like, what? There's no reason to think that any of them were left on the shore, as they were valuable property. And about 70 years after this voyage of Cortez was when the voyage of Vizcaino described by Torquemada took place. And apparently that's much too short of a time for Negro villages to have been built. Guys, if we play devil's advocate and say for whatever reason Cortez in 1535 left 300 African slaves on the coast of California, let's just play hypotheticals and say that happened. Well, 70 years later, when Vizcaino sees all these Negro villages, 70 years is too short of a time frame to have such a large population of Black Indians. Come on. It was apparently much too short of a time for Negro villages to have been built, with whose inhabitants the natives have formed leagues of friendship, even if it were proved, which it has not been, that such persons had been wrecked or left ashore about these periods of time. So you see why you tune into Mike TV and not folks like Umar Johnson, because I don't just talk about it, I show you evidence as well. Exhibit B. This is a painting of California Indians playing a game at a California mission. You got light-skinned Indians, you got dark-skinned Indians. The Indian standing up on the right look like a typical nigga posted up on the block, hands in his pants and everything. So when you hear misinformation like that of which is coming out of Umar Johnson's mouth about conquistadors coming to California and the California Indians said Africans came, no, I just read you the real receipts. And again, this book is called The Philosophical and Antiquarian Aboriginal History of America. It was compiled in 1820s in London, and it's a compilation of journals from Torquemada, Vizcaino, and Cortez, dated as early as the 1500s.
Don't believe Dr. Umar? Go look up and see what the white man said who came here. Columbus.
Oh, we just read what the white man said, sir.
This was not the only European who said, quote unquote, Negroes were in the Americas. Negroes was in.
Negro is Spanish for black. Yes, there's melanated Black people on every continent of the world. That doesn't mean they're African. There's Negros in Australia. They're called Aborigines. The ancient Chinese were Negro. Negro just means black. Stop the cap, Umar.
In the Caribbean. Oh, yes, go look it up. They was using the word Negro at that time. Yes! Columbus said he found Negroes in the Caribbean. Vasco Nunez de Gama said not only did he find Negroes in America, he said that the Native Americans told him that the original people were Africans.
No, they said they lived in a league of friendship with dark-skinned Indians that kind of resembled the Negroes the Spaniards came with.
Believe me, go do your research. But here's the problem you pretendians are going to run into. Here's the problem you pretendians are going to run into. If the original Americans were African and you are not African, that automatically means that you are a descendant of the red man, the red Native American.
There is no such thing as a red man or a red Native American. Red skin was another name for copper color skin, which is still talking about black people, which is why we have a phrase red bone. What are you talking about, Umar? You're supposed to be an educator or something?
not the black Native American. See, the black Native American is the African, and they were here first. The black Native American was the African, and they were here first. The red man was not here first. The red man is the amalgamation of the Asiatics who came over, mixing with the original African to make the red. So when you say I'm not African, you cannot be the original Native American.
I wonder if you know that I know he's lying right now. Oh, you got the new Margellas? That's what's up. That's what's up. I see you. That's your BMW? That's nice. That's your girl? Golly. Okay, I see you. But I just want to know one thing. You ready? Why the fuck you lying?
Yeah, Deformed Pretty Boy says that's all you have to do is learn the history of Cali and you'll learn about the accounts of the Black Indians. That's why California white people always talk about how Cali didn't have slaves. Yeah. The stories was of a Black Indian Queen Khalifa that ruled the island of California. Come on.
You say I am not African. You cannot be the original Native American. You can't have it both ways. You are either African and you are the original Native Africans of America. Because if you're telling me you're not.
Nobody on earth calls themselves the original Africans of America. That is the most ridiculous misnomer I have ever heard in my life.
As you're aware, in 1912, Dr. Walter Plecker became the first director of the Bureau of Vital Statistics. Prior to that, there were no birth certificates, and he was a director up until the 1940s, 1946, until his death. But he was part of the eugenics movement, which was a movement about creating one race of people, which was white, and everything else was put in a pot, as Tina Marie would say, and stir it up and call colored. But he went beyond board on that, wherein, as far as first Americans are concerned, he changed birth certificates and marriage licenses.
Hey, Umar Johnson is never going to mention Walter Plecker, right?
He even put out letters to census takers in 1930 that people such as myself that are first Americans and Native Americans, that he considered us as being bastards, that we were just trying to be Indian to marry into the white race. What's so interesting about that was that in the 30s he gave a presentation in New York City and on eugenics, and there were commanders associated with Adolf Hitler that attended that particular meeting.
But basically, when he was the registrar for the Bureau of Vital Records, he changed the names of Indian people in Southampton County.
Exactly.
Their race from Indian to Negro or colored.
So it was referred to as colored. And basically all the tribes in Virginia in the early 1900s were referred to as colored, okay? Then after the 1924 Racial Integrity Act, everything that was in that colored bowl became Negro.
If we were really from Africa, America would have never told you. I mean, what's the point of taking someone's last name, taking mother away from daughter, taking son away from father, making sure they can't speak their language, making sure they don't know their culture? If you're just going to turn around and tell them the exact location where they're from in the first place, it just makes no sense. What makes sense is telling them they're from somewhere else so they won't connect to their actual land and heritage and culture. Think about it. Peace to the gods.
African. You descend from the red man. So you are descendant of the red native, not the black native. So if you are descendant of the red native, you cannot be aboriginal. You cannot be aboriginal. You cannot be indigenous to America because the red Native American was not here first.
What are you talking about? He's oh so passionate about these lies. We have depictions of the Aboriginals of America as early as the 1500s, and the Spaniards always painted them as black folks, huh? All this talk about a red man. I don't see no red man in this. I see black folks. Discovery of the New World painting. Spanish depiction of the East Coast, West Coast, down South, Midwest. Black folks. Okay? All right. All the journals, all the accounts, all the depictions. Black Indians. Black Indians. What are we talking about? Now, Umar Johnson's kind of correct in a way, not really. He is correct in the sense that there are different ethnic groups of American Indians, just like there's different ethnic groups of everybody on different continents. You look at Africa, compare a North African to a South African. They look like different people, different phenotype, different complexion. It's the same thing here in North America. There were three main ethnic groups. We really just only have to cover the first two since the third ethnic group is in Alaska, and we ain't talking about Alaska right now. But the first ethnic group was the Anasazi, aka the Amerindian, aka the Negro people. We're the oldest, original, largest population of over 500 million. We are the descendants of the Mississippian mound builders, the Eastern woodland people. In more modern day times, these tribes may be called the Creek, the Seminole, the Chickasaw, the Yamansi, the Nottoway, the Wampanoag. The list goes on and on and on. But we are the original Indians. From Canada to the Gulf of Mexico, it was all Black Indian territory. And what Umar's talking about when he's talking about the red man, those are the Southwestern Plains natives. While they're still classified as Native Americans, they're really the first immigrants. These are those folks they say came across the Bering Strait from Mongolia, Russia, Siberia. These are the folks that settled in the California desert, the Arizona desert, the Utah desert, like the Navajo tribe, the Pueblo tribe. These are the Indians that look like this. Yes. There's a big difference, though, between an Indian that looks like this and an Indian that looks like this. Right, Umar? There's a big difference between an Indian that looks like this. Come on, she looked like her daddy's Genghis Khan and her mama's Elizabeth Warren. And now compare that to a real Indian that looks like this. Or an Indian that looks like this. Or an Indian that looks like this. And we can keep going. And we can keep going. The Foreign Pretty Boy says, Fatmar would never ever come to debate you about this ever. Hey, we know what happened the last time I debated Umar. He ran scared.
Well, the only reason why I mentioned people's actions is because you yourself exclusively date Black, yet you're one of the biggest scammers in our community. It's been 12 years and you still have
Why you do me like that? Why you do me like that, bro?
Hey, if I'm ever going to flex something, it's the fact that I'm one of the only Black Americans to tell Umar he's a scammer to his damn face, okay? Or as close to his face as I can get. But again, guys, there's a big difference between the ethnic groups, and we know who the original American Indians are, and we know who the migrants from the Bering Strait are. And guess what? These original American Indians, these folks were not from Africa. And when we say that Black folks are indigenous, it's not just America, it's the Americas. From Alaska to Canada, what we now call the United States, Central America, South America, the Caribbean islands, there was Black Indians all across here. And if there's ever anybody that doubts that claim, I bet you they ain't heard of the Black Warmento. Put some fists and feathers in the chat if you've heard of the Black Warmento. Put a 0 in the chat if you've never heard of the Black Warmento. For people like Umar who want to say Black Indians don't exist, watch me kill them with this move here. If there's anybody that puts a 0 in the chat, though, I see a 0. Boogaloo 45 has never heard of the Black Warmento. Well, let me go ahead and bring this up. How can anybody ever claim that Black Indians did not inhabit all of the Americas when the Spaniards who colonized Central and South America instituted a colonial policy called the Black Warmento? It means whitening. It was also called the Major La Raza, which means improving the race towards an ideal whiteness. This right here is a perfect example of what it was about. This painting depicts it perfectly. You would take a Black indigenous woman and you would rape her or force her to have a baby with a European. So now her daughter comes out like this, a mulat, a mulatto. Then you force her daughter to have a baby with a European. So now her daughter comes out like this, racially ambiguous, white passing. This was a Spanish conquistador colonial practice where they sought to breed the phenotype out of the Black Aboriginal within 2 generations. In just 2 generations, we can go from Black Indian to white passing descendants of Indian mixed with conquistador. So guys, if there's If there's anyone who ever doubts that there weren't Black Indians in all of the Americas, we're talking Brazil, Colombia, Peru, Mexico, all of the Americas, Jamaica, St. Barnabas, Haiti, all of the Americas. If that wasn't the case, then who were the Spaniards trying to breed out of existence? Why, when you Google Black Remento or Branquemento, when you Google it, it tells you right up, right? Straight up, look, it was a Spanish and Portuguese social, political, and economic practice used in many post-colonial countries in the Americas and Oceania to improve the race towards a supposed ideal of whiteness. The term blanqueamento is rooted in Latin America and is used more or less synonymously with racial whitening, which is why to this day they got such colorism issues in South America. They whiten their skin with the cream. You got Haiti, which is basically the black side of the island. You got DR, which is the lighter skin side of the island. Most people don't realize Haiti and the DR is the same place. It's the same island. It's one island, but it's just segregated, the light side and the dark side. If you look in the Brazilian favelas, all the dark-skinned people are in the favelas, in the slums. The light-skinned people are living in the cities. Guys, if there's no such thing as Black Aboriginals all across the Americas, what is the blanqueamento? What is this? But Umar wants to tell us we ain't Indian because he says so. All right, Umar. I guess I don't exist, Umar. I don't exist. I'm not here right now. I'm not talking. This is all a figment of our imagination. I don't exist. You guys don't exist. We don't exist.
He is a mixture of the Asiatics and the original Africans. So which way do you want to play this? Which way do you want to play this? Are you a descendant of the original Africans of America? Or are you a descendant of the red people who are a mixed race group who are also of African DNA? Make up your mind. Make up your mind, pretendians. Y'all got a lot of questions y'all need to answer now.
Yeah. We're called pretendians because we identify with our ancestral roots with documentation to back it, right? I can prove with documentation that I'm an American Indian, but none of these Pan-Africans can prove they have African heritage. Come on, y'all. Isn't that crazy how we can easily prove that we're American Indian, but they can't prove they're African?
Got a lot of questions y'all need to answer, because you do know the European anthropologists found skulls of African people in the Olmec. In the Olmec discoveries, there were skulls. Don't believe me, go do it.
No one theorizes that the Olmecs are African. We acknowledge that they have Negro features, but they are distinctly a different ethnic group than Africans. Just like we may have some similar features, but we look completely different than Africans. You can do a simple Google search right now. Were the Olmecs Africans? It'll say no. All the archaeology, everyone says no. Were they melanated? Yes. Did they have big noses and thick lips? Yes. Were they what you would call modern day a black person? Would we probably classify them as a Black American or an Afro-Latina? Yes. But they're not from Africa.
Your research. Everything I'm saying, go find it. If the Olmecs were not...
Damn. Don't y'all love Mike? Instead of saying a bunch of bullshit to y'all and telling you, if you don't believe me, go find it, I showed you the sources and showed you where to find it. I told you about the Black Woman and where to find it. I mean, I showed you receipts. And I mean, damn, if only motherfuckers who make these asinine claims and try to dictate heritage to us, if only they can give us their sources of information instead of telling us, oh, you don't believe me? Go find it.
An African. And if the Olmecs were not influenced by African, how in the hell did they find African skeletons in the same...
What the fuck is an African skeleton, Playboy? What is an African skeleton? He's not saying that they found remains and did a DNA test with remains found over here and compared it to a DNA test of remains found in Africa and it was a match. No, he's not saying this. He's talking about an African skeleton. Sir, there's no such thing as an African skeleton. Bones don't have nationality.
Areas where they found the Olmec heads. Help me out. You want me to keep going? Let's keep going.
lot of people don't know that America tends to cover up the history of its Afro-Native Americans, okay? So the Native American depiction that they mainly show in the mainstream is often a straight-haired, lighter-complected, almost Euro representing person. However, the kinky-haired, black beings, we're also Native Americans. I am Native American in the flesh. So make sure you guys are tapping into your history, know where you really come from, know what land you originate from. You know, Ashe, Aseo.
You don't have to try to be something you're not.
Trying to be something I'm not? Trying to be proud of my African heritage? That's being something I'm not, then fine.
My grandmother was a full-blooded Iroquois.
I know all of that, Mama.
I am alive because of the blood of a people who never scraped or begged or apologized for what they were. They asked only one thing of this world, to be allowed to be. It broke my heart when you changed your name. I gave you my grandmother's name, a woman who bore 9 children and educated them all, who held off 6 white men with a shotgun when they tried to drag one of her sons off to jail for not knowing his place. And you had to reach into an African dictionary to find a name that would make you proud.
Yes, very clever. Very, very clever assessment, Ty. Ty says America is the only place in the world that has no black natives. Something is way wrong with that. Facts. They want us to theorize that life came out of Africa and that the native Australians were black and the native Indians were black and the native Chinese were black. And, oh, the ancient Europeans are really black. But American Indians, Americas, oh, no, this was just totally uninhabited. There was just nobody here, guys. There was just nobody here until Africans came here one day. Come on, y'all. Come on. And you guys make sure to check out my new website, nativebblackancestry.com. Good Lord, if there's anyone who should check it out, it's Umar Johnson, because I give some great historical documents, a lot of evidence. I cite a lot of sources as far as Native Black American heritage, history, and culture. Matter of fact, right as soon as you hit the home page, I'm giving you a lesson on racial reclassification. Come on, guys. We were labeled Indian in 1492. Then in 1682, we became Negro. Then in 1851, we became colored. Then in 1960, we became black. Then in 1988, we became African American. And peep the psyops, guys. Do you guys see something strange about these last 2 numbers? Something here doesn't quite fit. You've got 1960 and you've got 1988. Do you guys see what's strange about this? Here, I'll let you know. 1492, 1682, 1851, 1960, 1988. Damn. If you look at these 3 figures, you see that they were kind of equally reclassifying us about every 100 years or so. 100 years, we got to reclassify them. 100 years or so, we got to reclassify them. 100 years or so, we got to reclassify them. But 1960.
They don't want you to remember this. You not no slave, you indigenous. Fuck how they painted them Indians. You went to war with the French and the British, man. Quite frankly, you was kings Merovingians. They took the women and men, made them prisoners, raised up the children to worship their images, set up a lab to the genes and they mixed them. And this shit get way deeper than your pigment.